talking about is the video that Triforce put out talking about Empire and Justin Wong and all of that, and even as a onlooker, there are some couple of things that stuck out in my mind that I think really needs to be addressed. Also, I'm going to have Henry Cen on here in a second. I'm going to grab him right quick, get the ball rolling. If you know anyone that listens to AlphaISM Radio but they're not listening right now, you probably want to give them the link, because this is going to be a good show. So strap in, relax. This is we're going to get this going. Give me 1 second. Let me get my man Henry on here.
Yo.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, what's going on, Bunkei?
Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot. You know, I'm glad that you was able to make the show, because really I couldn't do the show without you, because you are mentioned more than once in this latest video that Triforce put out.
Yeah.
And
mentioned me a few times.
Yeah. So let me let you steer the show for a minute. I mean, what's the thing that's on your mind the most? What's the top issue you have watching this video? By the way, if you don't know what video we're talking about, just go on AlphaISM.com. I have a link there to the video. You can watch it. It's 30 minutes long, broken into 2 parts. But what do you see in the video that you're going, okay, that's absolutely false, or, you know?
Well, the claims that Triforce makes that the Empire has made the scene in the East Coast is absolutely false. You know, the players were already there. I'm sure all the players were already. Yice was already there before the Empire. Rasan, Desmond was also there. Justin, everyone was already there. Now, Triforce had appeared after the scene was already made. So I don't understand how he makes the claim that he has made the scene in the East Coast, and how only Marvel was the big thing back then. There were only 2 games back then that were popular, and it was Third Strike and Marvel's Capcom 2. Mm-hmm. And CVS 2 sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest gripe, you know. And how he says he is a proponent for the fighting game community. I don't understand what Triforce has done for the community besides make drama. You know, I don't know what his contribution to the community is, you know.
I want to get into that a bit. Okay, so I mean, let me preface this by saying I am not an East Coast player. I'm not even a top player. I am just a scrub with a big mouth and with a microphone.
Apparently, I'm a scrub too. That's what everyone says. But you know.
Wow. We'll get to that.
That's what everyone on the East Coast thinks. Apparently, I can't beat them in the recent tournament. I got top 3. I'm still no good. You know.
What? Are you kidding me?
All the haters out there in the East Coast, you know.
All right. So okay. So let me. The biggest issue that I have with what Triforce said is when he said that Empire made Justin. Okay. I'm just an onlooker, but I can tell you emphatically there's only one person that made Justin Wong, and that's Justin Wong. And I'll paint a very simple scenario that illustrates this point. When you think of Empire, what's the first person that pops in your head? Justin. When you think of Justin, well, you know, the first thing that don't pop in your mind is Empire. It's dominance, Marvel. You know, even the Street Fighter 4 to an extent. You know, jack of all trades. You know, a high placer. You know, just all around a great player. Empire would not even make the top 10. And so, I would think that Triforce has got it wrong. It's actually Justin that probably made Empire, because when people ask to name one member of the Empire, Justin, you know, up until recently, Justin would be the first thing that come out of anyone's mouth. Even though that even though that Triforce says that Sanford was the first official competitive player, and but still.
Well, that's untrue too, because Justin was actually first at the scene at Chinatown before Sanford was.
Mm-hmm.
That I know for a fact, because Sanford came afterwards, after Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew Sanford was at the arcade. He used to go every day. But I did see Justin competing in tournaments before Sanford did. I think Sanford had kind of a financial problem back then, so he couldn't probably join tournaments. But I do know Justin was first, then Sanford, then came all the Marvel people.
Oh, I mean, I'm not arguing that. But the Triforce was saying that Sanford was the first official member of Empire, a competitive player for Empire. And I'm saying, but still, though, Justin was the face of Empire, because whenever you ask anyone, when you think Empire, who's the first person to come to mind, besides Triforce, it'd be Justin.
That's true.
But it's not the other way around, though. The first thing I don't think of Justin is Empire. The first thing I think of is dominant Marvel player, multi-champion, multi-talented, that's the thing that pops in my mind.
And sometimes when I think about the Empire, it's not the Empire supports Justin, it's Justin supports the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other way around. It's not the Empire is supporting him. They may be supporting him emotionally, but I don't think financially they're supporting him.
Right.
In general.
Yeah, because my issue though is, it makes it seem, the Triforce tries to make it seem like that he's done a lot for Justin, and that and Justin hasn't. I mean, he hasn't mentioned anything that Justin has done for the Empire except win tournaments, I guess. But I've been hearing, ever since this topic really kind of blew up, I've been hearing that Justin has done a lot monetarily for the Empire, And, as I said on the site, I did try to contact Justin. I left him a message. I don't know if he got a chance to read it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't show, because, I mean, he's moving on. And I can do nothing but have respect for that, because he has moved on. He's part of a new organization now. And he doesn't want to look back. It's not my place or anyone else's place to make him look back. He's moving forward. I can totally respect that. I just find it humorous that, he says that Empire made Justin, when I think it's more the other way around. And this is the thing. For someone like that, Triforce is a good talker. And I think that's how he manages to get everyone into Empire. But
I think that's untrue, though. It's not that he gets people in Empire. It's the players get other players into Empire.
You think they can? Oh, yeah. You try to convince this person to.
Yeah, I think without Justin, Triforce probably wouldn't have gotten Marn, probably wouldn't have gotten Flash, nor Ricki, because they're all friends. Before even Empire started, I knew everyone already, from the West Coast, from the East Coast, from down south. I knew a lot of players already, and they wanted to be like a clique with Justin, because if you want to be the best, you have to be associated with the best. You can't be associated with scrubs. It doesn't make any sense.
So you think that really that it was the players, that got the other players into, not so much as Triforce, and that's kind of funny you mentioned that, because I think it was Justin who said that when he was on AlphaISM the last time with Ski, and Ski asked him what he thought about Empire. He's like, Empire is a nice social, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's a nice social structure and whatnot. It's not so much on the business of it, it's more of a social thing, but Justin does have the talent to make it to make it a career out of it, so I can't blame him if he wants to go to another organization that would support him monetarily, and that means paying for his plane tickets, and send him to all these different tournaments. that's fine. Not everyone can do what he does. I think only a very small percentage of people can do what he does. But it's hard to knock the guy for doing that. Even if I was Triforce, I wouldn't knock him if he wanted to go to. Go where the money takes you, right?
Yeah, of course.
So this whole betrayal thing is just stupid.
I think the betrayal thing is nonsense. I don't think he's betraying anyone. Like, he still represents the fighting game community as a whole for America, and Daigo represents for Japan. I'm not going to hate on him because he just left the Empire or something. He still represents a country.
Right. I just don't understand though, man. You're right. Whenever I hear of Empire, it's always drama. And that brings me to another thing. I talked to Ponder earlier because, Triforce said some things about about EVO not giving Empire credit, even though the Empire's been there since 2003. So let me actually read you guys what Ponder said, and I think that it'll probably set things straight. Hold on for a second here. Let's see. He says that that as far as Empire Arcadia is concerned, he says that Empire Arcadia makes itself out to be an organization, and we don't thank anyone who considers themselves to be incorporated except our sponsors. For example, we didn't thank EG or FFA. But here's the key thing that's a really interesting point that Ponder made. He says there's a big difference, in his opinion, between someone like ShinBlanka, who's doing this for the love of doing it, and people who are trying to turn into a business, going after endorsements, etc. The community was built on the backs of the former, and as long as those people continue doing it for the love of the community, we will always be strong. So there is definitely a sentiment there that can be sensed that Triforce's reasons for being there at Evolution is, isn't just really out of the kindness of their hearts, and they really want to make the community better and whatnot. It was, I think that what Ponder's getting at is that they're more of self-promotion.
That's true.
And going after business, making a business, which is nothing wrong with that. He didn't say there's anything wrong with people having organizations or corporations to earn a profit, but Ponder's viewpoint, it looks like, is that those who do it for the love of the community takes precedent over people that doing it for money, because when it's all said and done, it is those who do it for the love of the community will keep this going, who have kept it going this long, during the long drought that we've had with Capcom games, fighting games.
It's true.
That's
why I was in the scene for a long time, because the games were getting old. I've been playing them for almost 10 years now, and they get boring after a long period of time.
And now we're having a rejuvenation, and we owe that to the community. I agree with Ponder on that point. We do owe it to the community because they kept it going. They kept it. If the community would have dissipated, and it's a great chance that Street Fighter 4 would have came out. It's for people like Seth Killen, who have been pushing for that we got the game, and the game has turned out to be a bona fide success, and now we got Super Street Fighter 4, and now we got Street Fighter versus Tekken. There's a lot to look forward to, but we got to kind of remember what we came from.
Yeah, that's true. There's one thing I didn't understand. Like, if Triforce was a person about business, this year he attended EVO, and that's what I didn't understand, because the Empire was short on funds. They couldn't send all their players out to represent the Empire, but he had enough money to send himself. You see, that's one thing I don't understand. Like, why, if he's a manager, he should be looking out for his players and not his own self-interest.
Wow. That
I
didn't
understand why he's been sent. He had a lot of other good players that he could have sent and made a mark for the Empire. Instead, he sent himself to do what? I don't know what he did at this year's EVO besides have some little chit chats here and there, and I think he signed Snake Eyes. I'm not sure, but
Right.
I don't understand why he couldn't pay to send another player from Empire to go to EVO to represent the Empire.
Yeah.
So that totally baffles me as from a business perspective. I only think this as self-interest that he sent himself, so he could represent the face of the Empire, and that was about it.
You know what? I'm going to basically make a point here about Triforce. You know, first of all, I have nothing against Triforce personally. I don't have anything against Empire personally, but I look at Triforce with Empire, and I look at Ponder and Inkblot with what they did with Evolution and Shoryuken, because both have humble beginnings, and I look how both have progressed. Both companies have progressed, and the thing that hurts Triforce is that, you know, someone put in the comments on that site on event hubs that Triforce is professional and on all of that, but really, I don't think that's the case. I think that he gets involved in too much stuff, too many personal stuff that you cannot be involved in if you expect to be an executive member of a big company. Especially, you know, when you're trying to market yourself and your company out, you can't have the type of baggage that Triforce has been associated with. And HP, the big, you know, printer company and all that, the CEO had to step down because he was accused of sexual harassment, not proven, only accused. But even the accusation in itself was enough that he had to step down.
It tarnishes its the face of the company. That's what it does.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to be tarnished.
Right.
But the thing with Triforce is, in the community, everyone sees him as an outsider. That's one thing. No one sees him as a real competitive player because he hasn't proven that yet. And that's why no one takes him seriously. If you want to be in the fighting game community, you at least have to compete.
Right.
And I rarely see Triforce compete. Like, he won't enter a tournament all the time, small or big sometimes. Maybe he'll enter a select few, but I have not seen him enter like a lot of major tournaments. He has not represented to say, oh, I'm going to contribute and also play and learn the games. I know he has started to learn when Street Fighter 4 came out, but back when he started Empire, he didn't really try to make that commitment. And that's why I see all the people go like, oh, he's an outsider. He's not from within. He came from Tetris. You know, he came from vintage games. He didn't come from fighting games. So people don't give him the same kind of respect. And I've also talked to Triforce on many occasions about his business, Empire Arcadia, and I told him, if you go look at Empire Arcadia's website, those videos that they post are not professional. It doesn't give a sense that they're professional, as in they want to actually make money. It's like they just want to be friends. They want to be a group of just players that are together. I can't think of a word that describes what the arc is. It's like a rec room. You know, it's just like, it's Triforce's house. People go there. He's like, hey, you got to pay for some expenses that I have. That's understandable. But to say, oh, you can live at my house is to try and invite another person to say, it's okay to forego your responsibilities because I'm going to take care of them for you. That's the assumption. But then when you leave the arc and you go, oh my God, pay for my own rent, that's going to be a different story. Now, that's not the case for everybody at the arc. But there's a select few that do have that case, and that's why they have to stay at the arc. You know, they can't just go on the streets and just say, oh, I'm not going to do video game anymore, I'm just going on the street. And there's one bad aspect is, like, people don't understand reality that in the future when they get older, they can't continue this because They might have an accident, a disease. They might get married. You know, they have to man up to their responsibility as a man and say, I'm going to move on with life. I can't just stay at this one position and just play games and forego whatever happens around the world. You know, I'm just going to feed myself and play games. That's not life. If they see it as life, then society does not accept that as life. Mm-hmm. You know, people say you're throwing away your life. That's what they say when you only do one thing, and that's one thing that people it's not socially accepted right now, but maybe in the future it can be. Then that changes the story. But as of now, that's not the way that people should view life.
I think that what's troubling me about Empire from an outsider's point of view is again the professionalism, because you know the recent rumors / expose, whatever you want to call it, the bowl of soul and all of that. Now again, I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe that is all made up. But see, this is what I'm talking about before, about when you're a CEO of a big company, and you have to be very, very careful on how you have to keep your personal life in check.
Let me stop you there for a minute.
What?
When you come and say that Empire is a big company and CEO, usually when you call someone a CEO, they have people that are investing in the company. There's a shareholder meeting, there's a board. That's when you can claim to be a CEO. You can't just be a chief executive officer. And, I could say I'm a chief executive officer of my company. I'm one person or two person. That's not what makes a CEO.
Sure, you can. You can be a CEO of a company, and you can own 1,000 shares in the company owned by you.
Yeah, but they don't have any. But they don't have any shares that they release or own.
Right. I mean, so but there are some companies that don't have public shares either. Like AOL is a company that has a CEO, but they don't have public shares. But at
least have a board that they have to report to.
Yeah, but the board member could be one person. What I'm saying is that
a board is usually two people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there is. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how the structure of his company is made up. I just think that if he wants to become a big, notable company, then he has to keep himself above. You know what? I even use myself.
I'll tell you
as
this,
an
Monkey.
example.
I'll tell you this. When some Empire member comes up with me with a W-2, then I'll say he's a business. If I don't see any W-2 from these guys are not paying taxes, and Triforce is paying them, he's taking a share. I would like to see these documentations. Because let me tell you, like last year, I tried to sign Fab. Fab's a Tekken player, and he won Summer Jam last year. First place. All right. And I was thinking I will open my own kind of like art things, not art, I mean the Empire business, kind of get like a group going. And I looked through all this stuff, this documentation from Consumer Affairs, from the federal level, and there's only 2 states that you need to have a license in order to be a talent manager, and that's California and New York. So I don't know how Triforce has officially gotten a license, because if you don't have that license, you cannot take any share from anyone who works for you. You can't take a cut, you can't take a percentage unless you're licensed. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking to myself at that time, and because I want to sign Fab, I go like, does Triforce has a license in order to actually take a cut from people? And I'm not sure if he has one or not, but I know it's really hard to get one, because you have to be classified as an employment agency in order to take a percentage share from an employee of yours. Mm-hmm. So
I guess it all depends on whether or not he hired them as employees or as independent contractors.
No. It doesn't matter. The law states that if you take a percentage, you must be filed under an employment agency, no matter what.
Taking a percentage of someone's income, you mean?
Yeah, if you're going to take a part of his income, yes, you must be filed as an employment agency. You cannot be filed as a corporation or a DBA. You can't be. Because in New York State, they have all these other talent managers that want to do the same thing. Hey, sign this piece of paper and you have to give me 20%. It's not legal. It's illegal, actually. The contracts that they draft are illegal.
Interesting.
And they hold no merit, even if they were kind of certified by a notary republic. A notary republic doesn't mean that it's just an agreement that someone has witnessed a
Well,
contract.
I'm a notary, and I tell people that notaries do not justify the authenticity of the document as far as everything in there is actually legal and on the up and up. They only certify that the person who is signing it
They only authorize that the person
that's the only thing that a notary does.
adhere to the rules of the contract. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But the contract, if not licensed, it's actually fake. It's just a bogus document that you sign. Because in New York State, they have tons of towns agencies that are like in someone's house. I'm not saying ARC is one of them, but I'm saying they're in some kind of apartment complex in Manhattan, or they're in some studio. It doesn't mean they're licensed to take money from you. Mm-hmm. You have to have an agency. Like my friend Derek, right? DerekGomez.com. He works as a photographer. Now, if you go to his website, he has a talent agency, and the talent agency takes a percentage from him because they find clients for him. Now, that talent agency is licensed. If you go look, they'll give you their license number on front of the website. Mm-hmm. Now, if I don't see a license number, I would just suspect that it's untrue.
Mm-hmm. I think, one of the things that I think that something I wanted to respond to right quick. Someone in the Ustream chat is saying that that we underestimate the power of hype and drama to get people interested in the game. Whenever you have a group of people that live together, or closely associate with each other, when you have so many dynamic personalities, drama is inevitable. So I don't think that the scene there in New York or on the East Coast needs the Empire to have drama. I think that.
Let me correct you on one thing. All right, the Empire, the members do not make the drama. I don't think so. Maybe once in a while.
No, I'm not talking about the Empire. I'm just saying that as far as hype and drama in general. I'm saying I don't think you need Empire to have hype and drama. I mean, it happens, all the time.
Like, I try to view an Empire and its members as neutral as possible. Even Triforce I try to view as neutral as possible. But there are times where he slams me in his videos saying how I don't do stuff for the community. I'm not trying to do stuff for the community. I have to appeal to two things. I have to run an arcade, and it doesn't mean I have to appeal to the community. The community is just people. People always want stuff for free. I cannot just run an arcade business and say, hey, you can play my games for free. Is anyone going to pay their rent? Triforce is asking people for rent money. I don't ask people for rent money. I never ask for donations or anything because I run a business. I don't ask for donations. A business is not a charity, unless you label it as a charity and you get it filed under a charity. So if you run a business and you say you're going to man up, you shouldn't ask people for donations. Like they were on Facebook asking for donations, that they're backed up on bills. A CF was backed up on bills for 6 months. I don't go outside and go, hey, everyone at Arcade should pay me, should give something to CF for a donation. No.
Hold up for a second. He asks people for donations to the Empire?
Yes, there was a donation on Facebook that they're saying they were backed up on bills. I think it was electricity bill, or they were backed up on rent. He was asking for donations if anyone could help him out. But that's not how I see a business. If you're running a business, it should be for profit. You should be making money, or you should have a source of income. There's no business out there that goes like on a street and goes, hey, I need donations for my sandwich shop. I need, look at freaking EVO. If you look at EVO, they don't ask for donations and say, oh, we need money for EVO so we could buy monitors for the gamers. No, it's an investment. You have to have investment already, or you have to have some type of job that made capital already. So that's the weird thing I see, a business asking for donations. And, it's all kind of weird to me that you could be asking the community to try to help out a business. You could say you could purchase more products, you could come to Empire tournaments, that's fine. But to ask for donations, that's something a little bit weird.
I, I'm a little bit. I did not know that he was actually soliciting for donations. I mean, that's usually a sign that the business is not being run efficiently. So, I, huh?
Let me just mention one thing. Now, Team Spooky, is sort of like another team in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they do streaming, and they don't get paid anything for streaming. I can understand. They're not really a business. They're a group of people trying to bring the fighting game community to the next level. And it's okay for them to ask for donations because they're doing stuff for non-for-profit.
Yeah, exactly. It's non-for-profit, and you know what the money is going to. The money
the money's going to their time. That Spooky, has spent like 8 hours at a tournament. He doesn't get paid for that. No. So I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Empire, they send their members to the tournament to win money. That's a different scenario. It's totally different from providing a service. For their members to enter a tournament, they're not providing a service for the community. That's not how I see it, because we're all competing for the same thing.
Right.
Team Spooky is not competing for the same thing.
Right.
They're trying to provide a service for the community.
Right. And I just think that really, at least in that video, he didn't have the power glove anymore. But here's the thing: if I am a board member for Capcom, can I really take someone seriously as wearing a power glove? I told him this a couple of years ago. I had him on the show. I'm like, you can't really expect bigwigs to take you seriously when you're doing antics like that. And on top of that, getting involved in these situations with people, with the most recent one coming to mind, and then there was other ones with other players in the community. You gotta be above board with that. You don't hear the Cannons being involved in some personal drawn-out drama with some other member, and you don't hear them. Because they know that the instant that happens, the deal stops. All right, because they can't. I can't afford you to make me look bad. And that's the thing. So, I even use myself as an example. I would never, ever, ever be approached by Ponder or Inc. to ever do a show at Evolution. And I tell you why. The reason is because I have said stuff on the radio that would not be kosher with their sponsors.
That's true.
But I know that, though. And I'm not looking to become a great, I'm not looking to make money as a radio host. I do this because I like hearing the sound of my own voice. And, no, I do it for fun. And something for the community to get involved in, and it's just really, that's all there really is to it. So, that's just part of the territory. I say off the wall things, and I know there's stuff that just can't really be said, even the times that I did get invited on, they always tell me, hey, you got to keep it PG-13. I'm like, okay, but that's fine. But I know the difference, obviously at work it's different. At work, I don't say all of this stuff because I work for a major bank. And so I'm a face for that bank. I can't be afford to be, doing some of the stuff I do at home, at work, for obvious reasons. And so that's what I mean with Triforce, the antics and stuff. You got to keep that stuff, if you're going to do it, you got to keep that stuff from getting out into the limelight at least, because if it does, then if you expect to be a face of hopefully what you hope to be a major company that's a major power mover, the movers and shakers, that's not going to happen.
That probably isn't going to happen. But I've talked to Triforce about this already, and he doesn't really, he doesn't really care about that stuff too much because he thinks it's more about the players and the content, And I think on his part, he's just trying to micromanage everything, from the players that play card games, the players that play fighting games. He has so much going on, so I don't think he's really that focused on that one aspect too much. But I do know Triforce is passionate about the community. any community that he's in, he's very passionate. But I also think his passion sometimes it comes out, it goes through the forums, it goes through the videos, it goes online, and people criticize it. I think sometimes he has to hold back on what he says, and sometimes maybe, do some research on some of the things that he claims also. Because, when you make a claim that you made Justin, or that you made the fighting game community in the East Coast, those are very big claims. So you should have something that backs it up. Because, from what I view as the Empire, it's good people, but it's the values that Triforce gives the members that I don't like that much. Like, just playing game all day, not trying to strive for something else in life besides being a champion in video gaming. I can understand it as a hobby in today's, because, fighting games is not like chess. Fighting games is not like football. When you play football, it's one specific game. When you play fighting games, there's like Tekken, there's Street Fighter, there's Blaze Blue, there's Guilty Gear. There's so many different types of fighting games. And for you to say, I'm going to master one of them is not enough in order to support yourself. It's like saying if you become a master of board games, there's a lot of board games out there, but how many of them are actually that popular, or how many people that attended EVO? If you look at EVO in a large scale of population, maybe like it's 1% of the population or less, maybe. I'm not even sure it's that much. Even if you stream it to like 250,000 people, it's like what, 1% only of the United States population. And where are you gonna go from that compared to like people that watch football, which gets like at least 10% of the population or greater to watch football? Maybe not even 10%. I think it's like 20%. 20% of population watch football. And you're telling me 1% or less are going to watch just Street Fighter, So how many companies are going to sponsor you because, and how much things can you make from Street Fighter? Posters of Street Fighter, it still has to go under licensing of Capcom. It's not like chess. It's not made by just one specific entity. Right. Chess can be marketed to a lot of different things. It can be marketed to school, kids in school can play. Kids in school can't play Street Fighter, you could play chess in the park. You could play chess anywhere. A lot of people talk about Street Fighter and chess. So I just recently watched a video with David Sterling talking about chess and Street Fighter, so that's why I'm mentioning it.
I think that well, first of all, let me actually address. Someone put this in the thread. Zaha's got it right. 90% of America watches football. Come on now, it's the greatest sport in America. Ain't that the truth? It's the true football, So.
Well, as a population, I'm talking about kids too. I'm not talking about just a demographic age of like 16 to 30. That watch football. That could be like 90% or greater. I'm not sure about those statistics, but I'm not gonna, confirm the facts right here.
Yeah, he was just making. He was just vocalizing his support of football, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I think that the biggest thing that I wanted to address actually was someone said, is Capcom oversaturating the market? And I'm going, what? How are you going to say correct me if I'm wrong, the only current game that they have, fighting game that have out right now is Street Fighter 4 and Super Street Fighter 4. That's it. Okay, next year we'll get Marvel, and year after that we get Street Fighter versus Tekken. How's that saturating the scene?
It's not saturating the scene at all. I think Capcom is taking it kind of slow because, when I saw the video and they say that the Empire's going to dominate in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I thought to myself, how do you know this already? It's not even the same. You're trying to foretell the future and say, I'm going to dominate in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. A lot of the people that are in the Empire that play Marvel You know, they play casually now. They don't really play hardcore. The game's old, and there's not a large tournament for Marvel. There haven't been a large tournament for Marvel for a long time already, except for EVO.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen a large one where you go to one like that you'll see like 300 people entering Marvel anymore. It's getting small now because Marvel has lost its popularity because it's old. But you know, Marvel 3 is not the same as Marvel 2.
Right. Right. I mean, and I think that another thing that I wanted to kind of mention is, I am really kind of tired of hearing that Marvel 3 needs to become more like Marvel 2. No, Marvel 3 needs to be Marvel 3. All right. There's a reason why they say Marvel 3, not Marvel 2.5. And you know, and the thing about it is, if we are so focused on the past, we will never, move on with what's coming in the future. We never will progress. And, because if everyone was so stuck on Marvel 1, then there'd be no Marvel 2, right? And we wouldn't be able to enjoy what that game has to offer. We have to do the same thing for Marvel 3. We got to let Marvel 2 go and let Marvel 3 be Marvel 3.
Yeah.
And...
New generation, like Street Fighter 4. There's going to be a new generation of players. It's not going to be old people dominating. I don't think... And to touch up on the point about the video about, where Triforce says, how can you hate on grown men paying their own bills? Well, are they paying their own bills, if you're asking someone to pay for your bill, that's a different thing. That's what people can't respect,
Yeah, but I think what you're alluding to is something that that I didn't really think of until rather recently, is that you were saying earlier, and you brought up a good point about that it was the players in Empire that got other players into Empire, because it makes sense, because if I'm a top player in the fighting game community and Triforce comes up to me and says, come join me, I mean, you can be like, what? Whatever, man, because he has no credibility. How do you gain credibility? You can only gain credibility by either performing at, exceeding people's expectations, or being associated with other people that exceed your expectations. One or the other, or both. And now obviously Justin did, and he basically became the face of Empire, and then other people joined in after that. So that makes sense to me, and I see why some people are distrustful of him, because, because whether it's true or not, the perception is that it seems like that he's out there to profit off of other people without really not contributing anything himself.
Well,
so
that's the business, though. When you're owner or you're manager, you're there to manage the players, and not to manage. He's there to manage the money and the players. He's out there to make money for himself. That's his whole goal. That's a talent manager's goal. You can't say that's his purpose. He has no other purpose besides that. If you're going to be a talent manager, you can't say I'm going to be a player and be a talent manager. You can be, but that's not the role he's taking right now.
Yeah, but my question is this: I will bring up the canons again. Is like, if he was to try to convince me that joining the Empire is good for because he's talking about that it's a developmental organization, I guess, to develop you into a top career player, hopefully, and if that is the case, I mean, where is the proof? In a sense, see, I can look at the canons. The proof that their organization is moving forward is the fact that B4, 3B3, B4. Capcom didn't sponsor those. Now it's not just Capcom sponsoring them. Namco's sponsoring them, and Mad Catz and all these other companies are sponsoring them. See, I can see the progression with that. Where can I look for the progression of Empire? If I'm going to be strictly neutral and just be factual, not allowing my personal feelings to get in the way, that will be the question I would ask.
All right, if Triforce says he's going to develop you and build you into this so-called professional gamer, you have to at least have an estimate or an example to use and say how much you can get paid, right?
Oh yeah, we went over this
Right?
one.
You can't just go and say, I'm going to develop you to a gamer, spend all your life playing video games, and not give you an example and say how much you can get paid. Right? If I told you, I told you I'm going to develop you into a football star, and you come back and ask me, how do football stars get paid? I'm going to tell you, these guys get paid millions of dollars. Now, if you're going to ask me how much does a pro gamer make, I can tell you the guy at McDonald's is going to make way more much money than you in your entire lifetime.
Well, see, that's the thing. I talked about this on my last show or the show before. I had a little bit of an issue. He mentioned, I forgot which tournament it was. It probably was East Coast Throwdown. He mentioned that there was an unnamed figure in Empire making $50 an hour. Now, I said, I actually don't really question the $50 an hour part. I just want the rest of it. How many hours? Are we talking about 4 hours a month? If that's the case, then that's way below poverty.
Well,
and, so that was that was my question.
Triforce likes to make up numbers, and I can attest to that. We were eating. It was me, Triforce. We were eating at Taisan, and he told me he had paid $3 million in taxes over the span of the Empire's time. And I was like, let me just calculate. I told Triforce, and I said, let me calculate this for you, because you paid $3 million in taxes in 8 years. And I told him, do you know how much that is per year? I asked him that, and he said, oh, it's only like a few thousand or so. And I said, are you sure it's a few thousand? I think it's tens of thousands a day if you pay $3 million in tax. I said, can you even contemplate the number of scale of taxes that you've paid? And he just goes on and just, there's these things you can catch him on this, because he likes to just make up stuff of how broad the Empire is, when it's not actually that broad. Because, if you pay taxes, I would like to ask the Empire member to show me a W-2 that they have paid taxes to the government themselves. Because if they pay taxes, they should get a tax return, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people in the Empire are not working full-time. They're working part-time. Even a part-time person still has to pay taxes. I don't know how members in Empire gets paid. And I know in the documentation it says if you join the Empire, you have to pay some kind of dues to the Empire. I do know that.
Oh,
but,
goodness.
But the amount of dues that you're supposed to pay to the Empire, I'm not sure. To become a member. But, but then I'm not sure how, the members benefit from being in the Empire before, I don't understand.
See, this is what I don't understand, because I would like, if this is again going from an objective point of view, if I am looking to join Empire, I really want everything to be out in the open, on the up and up. I don't want the secrecy. Well, what, I'm not really at liberty to discuss. He says that a lot, discuss that, but if you expect people to take your company seriously, I mean, then, let me ask your players, how much you make? What it is. I mean, I want specifics. Well, hey, we know how much NFL players make.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous
I don't
amounts of
think
money.
people want to know how much you make. Just people want to estimate. Just a number. They just want a number. But if you can't even give a number, then how can people take you seriously? If you can't even give an estimate, a rough estimate. And if you can't provide some sort of documentation, it could be the smallest type of documentation. It doesn't need to be the biggest, how much your income level is, how much taxes you're paying, whatever it can be, something small to clarify that your corporation or the company that you're running is actually profitable. That's all people want to see. And that your income and source is not coming from this specific sponsorship from that specific player. It's not that player supporting the Empire. It's actually the Empire is actually taking a cut, and they're actually trying to market the player to make it more profitable. If you've been open for 8 years for business, you should have at least have some kind of statistics about, how the company is doing and stuff like that, to tell the public. If you want to be, especially when you're doing like PR, public relations, you should have documentations already at hand.
I agree.
And how Triforce works in mysterious ways, and that's why people don't take him seriously. That's why people don't, people ridicule him. Some stuff that people say are fabricated, but some stuff that Triforce says are fabricated too. That's why you have both parties always in dispute, saying, "Oh, you said this is incorrect. You said this," like we're talking right now. We're trying to clarify things of how they actually are, But I'm not trying to be biased here. I'm not trying to be one-sided. I'm trying to see it from the Empire's perspective, a member's perspective, and also a gamer.
I just want people to just, if the people out there, that are wondering about, Empire, my only suggestion is ask a lot. And just ask a lot of questions, It's
That's true, because, I could have came on the show and said, you know what? I trained Justin Wong. I was there before everyone else in the community in New York. I was before everybody. I could have said, I made Chinatown Fair the way it is. Because I worked there for a summer job when I was 14. Until now, I'm still working in CF. That's 16 years of dedication to tell you. But I'm not going to make those claims and stuff. I didn't make Chinatown Fair. My boss and me worked hard to make Chinatown the place it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let people take credit, like Triforce said, "Oh, I made CF how it is." That's bullshit. He doesn't own CF. He doesn't run CF. He doesn't manage CF. He's not even associated with CF. He has the slightest thing to do with the arcade scene as it was in the past. And, I could have well said I trained Justin, because when Justin was there at CF, he was a scrub. It was me and Eddie, Josh Wigfall, Mike Dominator. Those were the top players back then at the arcade. And the random fobs, I don't know their names, but they were there, the random Chinese people. But, Chinatown Fair doesn't have a lot of Asian people now that play video games for some strange reason.
That's odd.
That is odd. But, I could have laid claims to that, But there's one thing I did do for Justin, and that was to train him in Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually stemmed from a bet, because I told Justin, if you can't beat me in Tekken, you got to play Tekken. I told him that. And it's a friendly bet, it's between bets, and that's what spawns competition. These small little friendly bets say, I'm better than you because you can't beat me, That's what spawns, all this new creativity in the community,
right.
Just because of someone trying to say, oh, here's a challenge. Can you fulfill that challenge? It's like EVO. Can you be the best fighting gamer out there? That's what they throw at you, and if you accept the challenge, you go and play. And usually in tournaments, it's independent. You're trying to represent yourself.
Right.
It's not like you're going as a team. What's the purpose of going as a team? Like, what's the purpose of Empire going as a team? It's an independent tournament. I don't understand that. You can't work as a team because the team effort is not there. Eventually, even if you have to fight your own team members, that's still a bad choice.
You know what? By the way, let me change topics for a moment, because since I have you on the radio, and there is a small, minute possibility that there's someone that be living within train, driving, walking distance of China Fair. Why should they come to China Fair? What would they, for the people that have never been there, that maybe they heard of it, but since they live outside of the state, they've never been there. What is China Fair like? Describe it to me.
Chinatown Fair is an arcade. It's old, It's been there since, I think my boss is celebrating his 34th year as an owner at CF. My boss is 81 years old. Tells you how old he is, right?
Okay.
He's 81 and he's still working there every single day. But what do you expect from Chinatown Fair is when you walk in, you expect fighting games. Because that's what CF is about. When you walk in, you expect to play any random fighting game and get your ass kicked.
How did you make it the hopping spot? Because it's a staple of the community now. So, how did you what did you do for the people out there that want to think about doing something similar? Because of course, arcades for fighting games is dead, except for you and maybe 2 or 3 other examples.
Yeah. Well, what happened is this. When I used to work at CF, I also used to live across the street from the arcade. I mean, literally across the street. I just walked across the street and I was home. So what made Chinatown Fair really fun is because I was always there. And I was there 7 days a week, and I worked there, and I also played there. And people would come and say, "Who's that Chinese guy always? He always kicks my ass. There's always one Chinese dude there that always kicks my ass. I can never beat him." So this rumor keeps on going. Like, there's these unbeatable players down there. They're like unbeatable. And people go, "Wait a minute, unbeatable? Are you sure? Let me go there and find out." And people start spreading these rumors. It's not really rumors, but it's the truth. I used to stay at the arcade every day. And that's when I met Arturo and Eddie Lee. And there was this random Asian guy and some Hispanic guy, and they were playing Street Fighter. And I said, "Who are these guys?" And they thought they were good. And I was like the guardian of the arcade. So I go like, "Eddie Lee, Arturo Sanchez, who are these guys here?" I play them, and I body them. I literally rape them. Man, these guys were so frustrated. They're like, "Oh my God, we just got our asses handed to us." And they came back the next day. They're like, "Oh, I'm aiming to beat the guy that works here, that passes out change here. I'm waiting." They come, they play me, I beat them again. I sent them home. And they told friends. They told their friends like Josh Wickfall, "Yo, they got the latest games, and there's always this Asian dude there that beats us. The guy that passes out change there."
I thought to interrupt, but so I guess you can just go ahead and say there's a reason they call me the king.
Oh, definitely.
All right, so the real king of China town is right here, right? Yes, I like it.
There could be a sequel to that documentary. You never know. But the thing I want to say was, when I was younger, I was very arrogant. And if you could talk to anyone from the West Coast, from the East Coast back then, when I first started playing tournaments, I was so arrogant. I used to beat almost everyone in a tournament. There was no one that I couldn't beat. Man, me and Eddie went up and down the East Coast. We went to Game Time before it closed. We went to this random pizza shop. I forgot what it's called in Maryland. Man, that's when we started traveling the East Coast and beating everyone. We were undefeated until we went to Midwest Championships, and that's when we clashed with John Choi, it's Alice Valle, and that's when we finally clashed. And that's what started the West and East Coast war for like the past 5 years. That's when it clashed. That's when it all came about. And I can tell you, when I was younger, when I was 18, I was a real big shit talker. When you come to the arcade, I wouldn't shit talk to you there, because that's business. But when you went to a tournament, I would say you're garbage, your ass, don't even hope to beat me, I used to dominate so many people back then.
So what? So it was just natural maturing that you're not that way now, or did you finally?
Well, I learned from my mistakes. I learned from mistakes. Your words can come to bite you in the future.
Yes, I learned that too. Believe me.
I had a real hate for the West Coast. I'm sure they made this documentary called "Bang the Machine." There was a lot of controversy over that. I'm gonna get into a little bit of the controversy on that because this is like some untold shit. I don't want to bring up to like spark some old hatred, but I just want to bring up to tell my side of the story, which wasn't shown in the documentary that you saw this year at the tournament. So basically, they said they needed us to go to Japan to represent America, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I've been playing Third Strike, and I've won Third Strike tournaments in the past. When the game first came out, I was still playing, and I've played Super Turbo, and, I'm old school Super Turbo player too, and the players, when we went to Japan, there was a controversy about Mike Watson challenging Eddie for his spot in MVC2. And Mike Watson had only recently started to come back into the scene because he had a sabbatical, I'm not sure what was going on at that time, but he had challenged. And I asked him, if Mike Watson can challenge an Eddie for his spot in MVC2, why can't I challenge Mike Watson in his spot for Third Strike?
Mm-hmm.
And I had recently won Midwest Championships for Third Strike in that year. No, in the previous year, I had won first place. And I had in the recent tournament, I had recently gotten second. And in a lot of East Coast tournaments, I had gotten second or third. So I don't understand why I could not challenge Mike Watson, who has not had placed in any Third Strike tournament, but he was allowed a spot on the team. But I knew it was sort of West Coast bias, so I didn't get into it. And things happened in Japan that things shouldn't have gone. It made the West Coast look like they were sort of like dicks, but they're cool guys now. Bygones are bygones now, but what happened in the past still hurts sometimes when we talk about it. But, everyone's cool now, so I don't want to dwell in the past.
Well, man, you open Pandora's box. You can't just say, okay, put a lid back on that sucker. I mean, I'm heck interested. I've never seen the documentary. I've heard about Bang the Machine. I've never seen the documentary because I thought someone told me a long time ago that the original footage was destroyed after 9/11 and...
Yes, it was. It was destroyed after 9/11. Some footage of it, I'm not talking everything, but a lot of footage, it was destroyed at 9/11 because their offices were in the World Trade Center at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think if back to the Empire subject, because, I don't want to stay on this West-East Coast stuff because it's not about West versus East nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It's about West versus Taiwan. It's about America versus Taiwan,
mm-hmm.
Japan, Korea. There's so many other things to worry about. You can't be like, oh, the guy next to me I have to worry about. No, you got to worry about the guy in a different country now.
What do you think of GamerBee now that you brought Taiwan up?
Well, he's a very talented player. I can say that. In Japan, in Taiwan, they respect him so much as a gamer.
Wow, he was welcoming there. I mean, that was surprising.
He had a fantastic welcoming. American players, when we get off the plane, you know what we're treated to? Nothing. Nothing.
No roses, no cute girls, no nothing. Just a cab.
No. I think most American gamers are treated to shit talk. When you get off the plane, like, who's that scrub over there? They'll say that. No, they won't say like, oh, that's Justin Wong. No, they say, who's that scrub over there? That scrub Justin Wong. Get over here, Try to have some association, And I just want to say for all those people in the community that aren't really that good, you have to practice in order to get good. People say, why did I get 8th place this year? Because if you look at my Xbox Live, I have like 30k play on 2 characters almost combined together. I have more play than Daigo has on his Ryu character. One Ryu.
Wow.
People try to play me off like, I'm not gonna get good and stuff. They're haters. They're just haters because they lost. I got the gold stick in my hand. I got the gold stick at my house. They don't got shit. So they shouldn't be talking because they don't know I put real effort into trying to win.
I hear you, bro.
You know, all these haters coming up to me at every turn. Oh, he doesn't deserve it. He got lucky. What's lucky? I beat the guys that beat the other top players. What are they talking about? They're talking nonsense. You know, I'm trying to defend myself. You know, they coming up to me saying all this hate. They're like, oh, you weren't that good. Like some members of EMP would say, oh, his Honda's not that good. My Honda's better. Oh, your Dalsim is not that good. Arturo's Dalsim is better. You know, what is that? That's nonsense.
I mean,
you know?
it is nonsense because at the end of the day, if you were so good, where were you? How come I didn't fight you?
How come I didn't fight you? You know, I had good people in my brackets. What are they gonna call those people that I beat scrubs? You know, they call Lamerboy a scrub. They call Rico a scrub. What are they call Butex a scrub? What they call Yipes a scrub? What? Because I beat them, they call him a scrub? You know, I didn't beat no one in the tournament that was good. They said a free ride to the top 8 or something. I don't understand what these
1,700
people are
people.
talking
Wow,
about.
that's quite a long ride. That's what I say.
You know, I named those players. You can call those players scrubs. You know, you guys didn't even beat those guys I beat. You know, that's the hilarious thing about the fighting game community now is because these 2009 players, they don't know where they came from. They just came into the scene and they're like, oh, I saw some video of this one guy and he was so fantastic. This guy Henry Cen, you know, I seen his videos, they're okay. You know, I just, you know, to tell people I have to work. I have to work 2 jobs almost every day and still perform good. You know, I day trade, I manage CF, I gotta go hang out with friends. I live a life. I'm not just playing games at home in the basement, you know, or at one place, you know, sleep, wake up, play games. No, that's not how it works in America. You gotta provide. I have to pay rent. I have to pay utilities. I have to pay Justin's phone bill, which I'm gonna put him on blast now because he owes me at least 5 months for his phone bill. Justin Wong, pay your shit. You know.
Oh goodness!
I'm just gonna put him on blast for that because you know I'm kind of worried. It's been like 5 months. I'm kind of worried he hasn't paid his phone bill. You know.
Oh man! Oh wow! That that was the moment. Man, I need some type of gimmick when I have one of those moments there. That was golden, man, right there. I think I'm gonna have to put on, you know, the R. Kelly "Pee on Me" remix, you know, golden, you know. Man, that was great. Now I have to say, you know what? Let me ask you something though. Since it says, why did you think that out of the top 8 for 2009 in Street Fighter 4, how is it that only Daigo was the only one to make top 8 for Super Street Fighter 4? What do we say? How come the top players in Street Fighter 4 fell off, or did we fall off? Maybe it's just because it was 1,700 versus 1,000. What is your viewpoint of why there wasn't any repeat top 8s?
Well, there's one big problem is because the scene has grown much larger, and I'm gonna say some stuff that might offend people now, like some top players. So
this is AlphaISM radio, man. It's very little.
Yeah, so you know,
yeah.
Flash lost to a random Honda player, Flash Metroid, and for you to be at this level, because last year had less random people. This year had a lot more random people. And in order for you to be a better player, you have to adapt to this randomness. You know, since there can be more players in a pool, your outcome of being random out is higher. So, you know, I practice on Xbox Live, and there's more random people on Xbox Live than at EVO. I can tell you that.
Right.
You know, these people that play online, they lag, they shit on you, even if they win or lose. But, you know, you have to be prepared to fight random people. And, you know, Marn lost to Cyborg Cop from New Jersey. Sanford lost to Grimsy, which is actually a top Xbox Live player, which he still doesn't think is a good player. But, you know, Grimsy is actually a very good Xbox Live player. And if you want to know, a lot of people from this year's top 8 were from Xbox Live.
So so the whole argument, which I never agreed with, that online play does nothing to help you prepare for offline play is really bogus.
It's bogus. That's totally bogus. Because I've only made top 8 because I practice on Xbox Live, and I practice at the arcade too. But if you don't try to practice, you're not going to win. And, I understand why Justin lost this year, because he had recently just came back from that TV show, what's it called? It's Ultimate Gamer. Mm-hmm. And so he only had like a few weeks to practice. So, I can understand why he lost, because he didn't look like he had that much experience with GamerBee. But Van Geef, on the other hand, he could have counterpicked, but I didn't know why he didn't. So, kind of baffled at that.
So, now, what's your feelings about Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade, being an arcade owner? Did he just faint?
No, I didn't faint.
Oh, okay. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not sure about Justin, if he was on that show or not, but, I'm just... There's rumors that have been going around.
Oh. Now, I'm just saying, what's the... You know what? Let me ask you a question. Before I even delve more into Super Street Fighter 4. So, Third Strike Online. Should it be a perfect port? Don't mess with it. Should they try to balance it? Or
to the arcade port? I'm not sure what they can do. I think they could fix some of the characters back up.
Should they just leave the top tier alone and just focus on bottom?
I think they could have a few tweaks here and there, but for arcade port, as an arcade operator, I would say it better not be the same game. Because if they expect
Really? Yeah, because your comrades have been arguing the exact opposite. I finally get a top... And that's, I just realized this, but it's what made me ask you this question. I was dying last weekend to find a top Third Strike player. Because I wanted to get an input on... Because, okay, a lot of people are thinking HDR all over again if they decide to balance, Third Strike Online. And... I'm just saying, though, if you do, even if you do a perfect arcade port, which is doubtful, because to the date they have not done, with the exception of Super Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 4, they have not done a perfect arcade port of any Street Fighter game. They all have issues.
Well, if it has issues, that's fine. Mm-hmm. As an arcade operator, I'm just saying I don't want to pay the same price I paid for Street Fighter 4, which was about $16,000, for 2-player, and have exact copy of a console. That's not a good investment. From an operator standpoint, I want something different that players can't have on console. So I have the edge. That's what this is all about. It's having a small edge. I don't want a big edge, but some small edge to help me recuperate the money and make some profits.
Oh, you talking about Super? Okay.
Yeah, Super.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I agree with you on that. I think you're going to get that.
I don't want it the same.
Right.
And if they had an arcade version, I will hope that Capcom would be smart and not be like Tekken and release the game after like 3 or 4 months afterwards. That's kind of bogus. Remember with Tekken 5, they made all the operators buy the Tekken 5 machines, which were about $8,000, and then like 4 months down the line, that a console release. As an arcade operator, I didn't even make back my money yet. How are you releasing a console release already? I don't understand these companies. And to say that why the arcade scene is dying is their own doing. No one has killed the arcade scene more than the companies themselves. Mm-hmm. How can you make one game, put it in an arcade, and charge me, ask me to pay like I give example. If a Virtua Fighter 5 came out, I give you like Virtua Fighter 4 is a very good example.
Mm-hmm.
It came out for arcade, and then had a console release, right, on the Dreamcast, I believe, and then afterwards, And afterwards, I believe they came out with a new version of Virtua Fighter 4, right? And then they had another revision of Virtua Fighter 4, like Final Tune. How do you expect an operator to pay like 3 times the same amount for 3 different versions? You know, as a company like Sega, you should go say, hey, we made a mistake, we fucked up, here's another free revision. You know, you can't ask us to pay for this stuff. That's ridiculous. And you wonder why the arcades are not making money, because, you know, you can't patch stuff up at the arcade, you know, and probably now you can, but back then you couldn't.
So when they release Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade, you think they should wait a good year before they put it, you know, whatever the new characters are? You think maybe this is an idea. Maybe they should they'll do Super Arcade, right? Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade. Then they will have, but the downloadable characters will be characters that are not in the arcade. Maybe they will do, I mean, those 7 characters that were rumored to be added, maybe they will add 4 of them to the arcade, and the remaining 3 will be added to the console version. You think that's an acceptable compromise? So each side gets a little bit of something?
Well, console is different business from arcade business. It's not the same.
Right. But you're talking about, Capcom not shooting you in the kneecap by releasing what made the arcade, everyone come to the arcade, to the console so soon after the arcade has been released. And I was just thinking one way of doing that is maybe have 2 different character sets. Maybe that the arcade whatever characters they add for the Super Arcade version will remain exclusive to arcade for a good year, but meanwhile they may release another group of characters for the console only.
Well, probably not, but like, if they made it sort of different and players couldn't get it on console, then, the people playing the arcade version would say, oh, the arcade version is better and the console version hold no merit, and then,
But that's
vice
what
versa.
you want, right?
Yeah, they'll say different stuff. I'll give you an example. When Marvel 2 came out for console, for Dreamcast, and came out for PlayStation, PlayStation was definitely not a perfect port.
Yeah.
But even though it has the same characters, even the slightest difference, and Dreamcast is still different from arcade, that slightest difference players don't like. People want an exact copy. Mm-hmm. They don't want HDR remix. Even though it has cool graphics, people like the old game. When they first played it. Small changes here and there, unless the game is totally different, like HDR, then that's fine. But if it's not like that, and you have like small little change, like 1 character extra, and then there's a good example is like Alpha 3. Right? Alpha 3 on console had extra characters. They had T-Hawk, Fei Long, right? But players still didn't like it because it wasn't a perfect port.
But okay, so what would you like Capcom to do with Super 4 Arcade then? Would you rather them not release the whatever updates it receives to the console for a solid year, or is that what you would want? No, I would actually like, if Capcom is going to make any upgrades to Street Fighter, I would say to make the game less scrubby, Like the game right now, Super Street Fighter, in my opinion, is very scrubby, It's like, anyone could jump on the game, that's fine, but at least put a little bit more skill into it. How people just mash when they're blocking, and how combos are relatively easy, but they still do a lot of damage. It's like, if I make one mistake, I'm going to lose. That's Street Fighter 4, right? Remember Sagat? You make one mistake, uppercut, FADC Ultra, you're pretty much dead. Street Fighter Super is trying to lean a little bit more and say, we're going to slowly add more skill, by
giving more life or toning down specific moves or specific characters, small adjustment like that, it helps. But I think it could go further and say, if you're a skill player, we're going to reward you slightly, but not too much where it impacts the game. That's where I want to see Capcom go.
Henry, let me ask the question again, because that's not what I asked. I was asking, though, should whatever updates they made to Super, because if you go out and buy that machine, you're saying you don't want the console to get whatever the arcade version got in 2 months down the road, because then you haven't made your money back yet.
Yes.
So would you rather than wait maybe a year before they actually release it on console, what they're going to put in the arcade version that's coming out in a few months?
I totally think 5 to 6 months is fine. Half a year will be fine.
Half a year.
Half a year will be fine.
So that put it right around June. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the story with the arcade release is that they're going to have new characters.
Yeah. Because they will have a full year with the game. Well, I mean, if you really, even a little bit more than that, if you consider, what the time they put into the console, version, they've had almost a full year to really.
And to say, I'm going to say something that my distributor said. He said there is going to be at least 6 characters. That's what he told me. I've talked over the phone, and he has told me that there's going to be at least 6 characters in the arcade version.
Okay, people out there, you owe me. Go ahead and pay me on PayPal. I said it was going to be 6 or 7 characters. You guys didn't believe me. Give me your money. Give me your money. You can PayPal your money to AlphaISM at PayPal.com.
It's not going to be 2 characters, because from what he told me, he says the original release date was supposed to be in October for arcade version, but they backed it up because of a specific reason, and he said they were adding more characters to the game. That's what he told, and that's why it's getting released in December. You see, if they were just going to straight port the game and not make new characters...
Yeah, the game should have been out 3 months ago then.
Yeah, it'd be out pretty close.
Yeah.
But they're saying they want the arcade version to actually be different from the console version, so operators can make back the money, because they're going to charge a lot of money for this game.
Right. And plus, I mean, it's something that ShinBlanka said. Capcom did kind of mess over the arcade owners with Street Fighter 4 Vanilla. And,
they did.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to appease the owners back again and say, oh, we're not going to dick you right here, again, because the arcade division of Capcom is very, very upset. Even all the operators that tell me that they bought Street Fighter 4, they're pissed. They had to pay they bought two players one. They had to pay over $30,000 for it. That's more than a car.
God, that's a lot of money.
I spat out at least $36,000 for 2 at Chinatown Fair. People don't know that. They oh, I'm charging $1 a game. It's overpriced. Oh, that shit should be 50 cents. And I want to dwell on something that happened in California. Vid94 actually got Super Street Fighter and Tekken, and they made it a quarter. Was disastrous. I don't know why they did that over there at that place, but it was disastrous for the operators around the area. And that includes Super Arcade, AI, which got those a lot of arcades around there. Benjin, pay good money for it, and then you get this one operator who goes, I'm going to screw you all and make it a quarter, so spark competition. I think that was a bad move on the part of that operator, but it helps the community, but, I don't think it helps it that much, because it screws the operators, and, arcades need money to stay afloat. It's a business, it's not a video store, with just 2 games. Arcade Infinity is a real arcade. It has over 30 games. Super Arcade is a real arcade. It doesn't have a secondary business, like Vid94. Benjin is a real arcade. They don't have, a secondary business. These guys don't sell clothing on the side or anything. So they need your support, They need you to put at least real money in, because people have to understand, don't make a quarter in today's inflation.
I wanna I'm gonna just say this much, man. It, if you're getting Super Street Fighter 4 arcade, man, I think I think that you got a real moneymaker in your hand. Hopefully I'm right, because if they do, because I believe that they probably will wait about 6 months before they release it on console. And if that's the case, man, again, China Fair. That's what I told you, man. You need a roommate. You can let me know. I mean, I work at Bank of America. Bank of America's in New York.
I work for the financial industry too, and I can tell you, Merrill Lynch is gonna make Bank of America go under. But that's the topic.
Oh man, I'm not, man. No, you're not the first person who has told me that. It's really Countrywide that's actually going to make Bank of America go over. Did you hear the settlement?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is before Bank of America took them over, but they still got to pay them.
But this is totally off Street Fighter topic. And
I know, but we should. Yeah,
work in the financial industry. You should know. Don't invest your money in Merrill Lynch. They were supposed to go under already. If you watch any conspiracy documentaries about the financial meltdown of how this came.
Well, I'll just say this, and I will leave it alone. Bank of America's goal was to be the #1 consumer bank, #1 business bank, the #1 investment bank, and the #1 mortgage bank. Now you see why they bought Countrywide and they bought Merrill Lynch, because the Countrywide was the #1.
They didn't buy. Huh? They didn't buy Merrill Lynch.
Incorporated, whatever you want to call it. Merge it. I don't know. Yeah, but that was their idea. It didn't pan out, and now that's the reason why we got a new CEO. And I'll leave it at that.
There's some still weird things I don't understand about the fighting game community. Like, why does everyone support Daigo so much instead of Justin? Sometimes when I look at the community, I go like, what is wrong with people sometimes? Justin is representing America at EVO, yet a lot of times when I go to tournaments, EVO 2009, 2010, they're always booing Justin. Why were they cheering when GamerBee beat Justin? I don't understand that.
But it was cheering because I don't know if it was so much against Justin. I think it was just, rooting for the underdog. Because, when Justin fought Daigo last year, in 2009, he got people cheering for him in the grand finals.
Yeah, but a lot of times it's always the same thing. Justin's here to represent for America. And every time I see people cheering for another country, I go like, where's your nationalism at? I go like...
That went out the window. Hey, EVO moment number 34, yeah, pretty much put that on blast. Because, they're going to, because, even though the Daigo's personality is the exact opposite of the hype that he creates, but that was the hypest moment probably ever in a Street Fighter tournament. It's just, I watched a lot of Street Fighter, and I can't find anything bigger than what he did during that year.
I don't dispute that, but
I get what you're saying. That we should support our American players. And I think to a certain point that we do. Although, and a lot of people are used to rooting against Justin because it's always it's always American tournaments, not international tournaments that we usually see him in.
So what if he beats you in an American tournament? Justin has practiced a lot. Justin has practiced a lot too to get to where he is now. You can't give him no credit for that. If he
give him all
beats
the
you,
credit in the world.
It's not because he's being arrogant. A lot of times they show these videos of Justin being arrogant. Like when he goes to the national, he said, "I beat you." Yeah, that's fine. Because he's representing you. It's like, why wouldn't you cheer for him?
He's not black.
I think just because it also has to do with something with the Empire. Just because he's an Empire doesn't mean
I didn't
you
think
can't
about
cheer.
that. Yeah, that could be way part too.
Still doesn't matter. It's not Triforce who gets the win. And Justin, in King of Chinatown, it Justin says is what you do with the win. Yes, he got the win. He's doing something with it. he's not giving the win to Triforce. It's like, Triforce, you got the win, you know? No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree totally.
That's like one of the misconceptions in the community. You know, like Marn, he's a great player, but he's still representing himself. You know,
Ooh.
and then secondary, the Empire. You know, I've known Justin a long time, and if people think he's cocky and arrogant because he jumps up one time because he won, that's not how Justin is. You know, people always on the forums they always post that Justin's arrogant, he's cocky. You know, that's not who he is. You know?
Oh no, I never got that. I mean, listen. Besides the little business that he kind of stiffed me on, but you know, he made it right at the end last year. I mean, I have nothing against Justin, you know, and I give him all the props in the world for what he's accomplished. You know, that's why I said at the beginning that you know, Empire didn't make Justin. I mean, Justin made Justin.
Yeah,
you know,
Justin made himself. And if people believe that Empire made Justin, then that means Empire can make champions out of everyone. Then
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Can I join Empire? Because I mean, I want to be top 3 in Super Street Fighter 4 Turbo. That's right, Neftar. I said Turbo. It's coming out. Don't deny
it. And if Empire was top tier, where's their gold stick at? You know?
Oh,
it should be like it should be like showcasing it. Like, hey, we won at EVO, you know. But I think a lot of players at Empire could have made top 8 at EVO, but they weren't given the opportunity. So that's my gripe. That this year with Empire.
What do you mean by that?
Remember when I said Triforce flew himself to EVO instead of other members? You know, I'm pretty sure from what I was told, Triforce got the ticket last minute. You know, so I'm pretty sure he paid for probably more than 2 tickets, you know, for 2 people round trip. Mm-hmm. When you buy stuff last minute, it's not cheap.
Right.
If you bought the ticket in advance, you know, say you pay like $600, you could send 2 people to EVO. 2 Empire Arcadia people to EVO to represent, you know, and a lot of people don't know, but the Empire has great members that people don't talk about sometimes, like Kevin Landon, you know, great player, he has a lot of my respect, you know, and they have Andre, which is really good too. I would still say he's good, but I haven't seen him play that much today. But these are great players that Triforce could have sent to EVO to represent with that money that he sent himself with.
That would be an interesting question, and maybe he'll answer that in his next monologue about why he didn't fly his players out. So I mean, that would be a good question to ask. I did not know about that. And I'm thinking that, you know, that all those who play competitively, they all, you know, I mean, if you're part of an organization like Empire, you know, that's for developing you and everything and what makes you the best, you would think that if you got to contribute like he says, you know, you can't be part of the Empire if you're not contributing, you know, like staying at this, you know, at the arcade and whatnot. But, you know, if you're not flying out there, then why am I part of what are you doing for me, you know, that I can't do myself? I mean, that's just the question that I would ask myself.
I still think there's a lot of players out there that are unknown, that are like me, who have been playing for a long time, haven't gotten recognition for their efforts. But, you know, I would tell those players, your time is coming. The top tier status is not going to last for long. Because you got other players coming from other countries now. Your top player status is not going to be there.
Let's go back to something you said earlier. They're talking about it there in the Ustream chat about. They said that Newman. I made a point. He said that even the Japanese question why we don't cheer for Justin. You know, even though that Justin represents America, but do people on the sidelines, do they really look at Justin like that? You know, I guess that's really the question that I would have. You know, do you look at? I mean, Justin is as great as he is, and as most accomplishment that he
faster
has.
is better. Like when you're trying to fight breakouts. That's why clear.
Oh, that was your Ustream thing.
That wasn't me.
No, that was me. I was trying to watch the stream.
Oh, okay. No, so I'm just like, but Justin isn't the people's champ, though. Who is the people's champ in Street Fighter 4? Well, that's probably Mike Ross, right?
Well,
yeah, because he probably gets
Mark
more.
Ross is a great guy. He's hilarious. I played him before. He's funny. He's a great guy. He may be the people's champ. People give him that title, so he can have it. He is the people's champ.
That was cool. I'm happy. I'm happy that he made it.
I'm happy he made it too. I like how he jumped off the stage and almost tripped. You know, that's fantastic. But I think still, if people want a champion, that champion has to be consistent. That's all I'm going to say. If you're not consistent, not really a champion. Like, I can't even call myself a champion. I'm just a player. Even though I got top 8, I'm not good.
Who is more consistent than I'm not being rhetorical here. I'm actually asking this. From you guys out there, who is most consistent outside of Justin Wong in Street Fighter 4 / Super Street Fighter 4? Who has consistently placed, let's say, top 5 at every major Street Fighter 4 or Super Street Fighter 4 tournament, you know, since the game has come out? Man, I'm getting a lot of replies. A lot of Valle.
Well, no, I'm not going to say Valle. You want me to tell the truth? Who has been more consistent than Valle since Street Fighter came out? Who gets no credit for it? I'm going to tell you that one person is Ricki Ortiz.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that. He never gets any credit for it, and he's been very consistent in a lot of Street Fighters. He has gotten top 3 at EVO so many times, and people don't give him recognition for it. I don't know why, because people always make up the assumption about his sexuality or something. He's just a stylish guy. You don't know anything about his sexuality.
Who cares? It's not your butthole. Who cares?
You know, someone dresses metrosexual, you can't all officially assume that that person is gay, you know, until that person tells you.
I wouldn't care. I would not care how someone dresses unless they're wearing my clothes. Then I won't get some. Then I'm gonna get angry.
But the fact is, he has placed top 3 at EVO so many times. In CVS2, in Third Strike, he has also placed in Marvel before, not top 3 though, but he has placed at least top 8. I think he has more accomplishments.
Yeah, that's true.
Than Valle for EVO, as per se. I think Alex has won a lot of tournaments. He also needs his recognition too, but in the West Coast and based upon EVO performance, I would say Ricki Ortiz.
There you go, folks. I actually agree.
But Alex Valle is the top player too. He was.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, man. I gotta give it. You know what? What enviable position that Valle has. Look at his apprentices. Look what they've done. I mean, you know, he's helped Alpha Legend. Look what he did. You know.
That's true. I think it also has to do with Ricki Ortiz too. I think he has also, you know, had some influence on Ricki because he's a West Coast player. Even though he's North Cal, you know, but you know they still go compete at tournaments. But Alex Valle, he's like a forefather for gamers. You know, he loves the community with so much passion. You know, he is like Ricky Balboa's coach. You know, in Rocky. You know, he's like the coach. He coaches everybody. He's like a mentor. He just mentors everybody. But that doesn't mean he wasn't once a professional player.
Oh, of course. I mean, the one thing that I keep on, I give Alex credit for. When Adon first, you know, when the game came out, to my knowledge, Alex was the very first one that said that Adon was good, and he made videos showing what you can do with Adon. He played him at the Wednesday night fights when they had it going on. They he said it that Adon was good, and everyone else was like, no, he's trash, And now GamerBee came out of nowhere and then start messing people up. And now everyone's saying, okay, maybe he's actually decent. But
well,
I just wanted to give him.
Alex Valle has a great eye for characters. I'm going to tell you the truth. How Alex Valle, he also changed my perspective of playing Street Fighter 2. There's one time he came over. It was back in like 1999. He came over to the East Coast. Right? No one knows, but Alex Valle does travel to the East Coast. And he traveled to Game Time, and we had an Alpha 3 tournament. And he came over and he told me. I was playing Bison at that time, and I asked Alex, and I said, who do you think is a good character for me? And you know what he told me? He's like, Dhalsim looks very, very cheap. And, till that day, after he told me Dhalsim was cheap, I believed him. I went back to the arcade, played Dhalsim in Alpha 3, and that's why I got so good with Dhalsim. Because he told me that Dhalsim was a great character. Because I was trying to find a secondary character at that time. I didn't know what character to play, but since Alex just came back from Japan, and he told me that, he saw a lot of Dhalsim players in Japan and, really cheap. So he changed my perspective because I didn't like Dhalsim back then at all. I was playing M. Bison. I thought M. Bison was really good. But in Alpha 3, M. Bison's decent. He wasn't like how M. Bison was in Alpha 2, but Alex Valle has a good eye for these things. He knows which characters are good and which characters are not good.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Next year for Evolution, if you're a betting man, who has the best chance of beating Daigo if Daigo's in the finals again?
Beating Daigo?
Mm-hmm.
I would say, based upon this year's performance, I think Infiltration would have done better than Ricki. Not to say that I would have probably thought that the match would be more spectacular. That's all. I'm not saying Ricky's bad at it of fighting Ryu, but I just didn't see the fight as, it was very hype. It wasn't like, it was just playing Ricki. I was like, oh, Ricki could do good. But, to have two international players fight each other, I think it would be, better for the community, because then they could see that, oh, America didn't do that well. We're not second best. We're not even first best. We're all the way third. So it would spark some kind of, excitement to players to say, oh, it's an international thing now. We have more international players. They're more of a threat than American players.
I see. Yeah, changing your perspective. I remember back in 2006, this is when AlphaISM Radio was first created. Actually, my first guest was Alex Valle, and he came on. He talked about how we need to stop putting the Japanese on the pedestal and all of that. And he went out and proved it because the first episode of AlphaISM Radio aired 2 days before EVO 2006, and he went up there and he took out Daigo in both Third Strike and ST. And
yes, he did.
Yeah, it was pretty hype, So yeah, I mean, so I think that's a good point because I really do believe it's still a mental block because everyone talks about the Justin effect, but there's also the Daigo effect. It's just you mean the international community is different though because they don't see all the hype. They don't see all the hype that get built up around those two players. So GamerBee was probably going, what's all the fuss about? I'm not saying that GamerBee doesn't know who Justin Wong is. He most likely did. I'm just saying that he probably didn't know what was so much big deal in beating this particular player. So I mean, I think that if once we get off that mental block, then we'd be good.
It is a mental block. For me, I've played games for 16 years, and I've learned one thing is try not to respect your opponent that much.
Yeah.
Remember, he is supposed to be your equal
Right.
in a tournament.
Right.
If you think yourself as less, then you're giving that person, your opponent, the opportunity to dominate you as a player. And if he beats you one time, you're going to be mind-fucked for the rest of your tournament career until you conquer that person.
Yeah, because
You know?
I mean, in a fighting game, not like I'm an expert or anything, but I mean, when in the game, it's all about, where any game is about imposing your will on your opponent, not letting the opponent. Really is who's best at that is determines who's the winner, and you don't want to give too much respect to your opponent, because that means that you're not playing your game, and that's how you lose. It's not playing your game. So,
since we're on the topic of Alice Valle, I think Alice Valle might have gotten top 8, but I think he spent too much time developing Level Up, but he still made top 32. So that's very formidable. So I do see Alice Valle, all the people that got top 32, they're going to be big threats next year. I think Alex this year was probably focusing on the community more, but his passion is so great. He still made top 32, even though he was doing Level Up series. He was, he wasn't practicing that much. He was trying to promote for Level Up, which is a great series. People should go watch that. You can learn a lot.
You know what? I would like to see a first attempt between Valle and Daigo. The principal reason being is that Valle has beaten Daigo on the top stage before, in Japan, Alpha 3, and I said, so what I was saying is, if I had to choose a player that didn't have a mental block against Daigo, and even though that Valle lost against Daigo doing that, that showing that they had on Super Street Fighter 4, I still think that, there's no doubt in my mind that Valle believes he can beat Daigo, if he plays his game right, So yeah, there's a video of that on YouTube. Yeah, that was great. That was.
Well, I have a video of myself playing Daigo too, but I lose. I don't have a mental block, but he knows his game better. But the thing is, if you want to become a professional gamer, you have to have discipline. And the most important thing about fighting games is how much you know. Because the smallest amount of detail that you don't know, you're going to lose from that small thing.
And let's not overlook the fact that Daigo has practiced a whole lot.
It's not he practiced a lot, yes, that helps. But it's also his knowledge of the game. You're not going to go up to Daigo and go like, oh, he doesn't know the range of a fireball. He doesn't know this situation or that situation. He knows probably 99.9% of Ryu's situation, every situation. Compared to some other top gamers which probably only know 99, it's that 0.9% that helps you win.
Although I have to say this, I have to take that back now. There's another player that I'll probably stick in there that I think that can beat Daigo, and that would probably be Arturo, because it looks like that Daigo does have a slight weakness versus Cen. And
I would say that it's not versus Arturo, it's versus Dalsim.
Just that character is just a really bad matchup for Ryu.
It's a counter match, and if Arturo is winning a 5-5 match, sure, that's fine. I would say that character. Art has it over Daigo. But when you're playing a counter match, how can you say, "Oh, I'm with equal skills with you"? But your character already has an advantage. If it was like Ryu versus Ryu and Arturo won, I would say definitely the better player would be Arturo. But going to a counter match, I don't see, even if you win, how can you say I'm better than that player? That's the same argument that Daigo made for Guard's Garden. Remember how players are always like, "Oh, you there's a Zangief player, and then you go pick a Sagat versus a Sagat player. Does that mean that the Zangief player is less skilled than the Sagat player, or the Sagat player is more skilled than the Zangief player, or vice versa?
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't hold any basis. Sure, they could be good players, but if you put them on an equal level, which player would be better? That's the argument that Daigo had. Which player would be better if you didn't have this situation of counterpicks?
Okay. Well, I mean, I knew that the match was tough for Ryu. I didn't know it was considered a counter matchup.
Yeah, it's like 6-4, but still, you get that 1 point. That means you have an advantage. It's not an equal playing level field. I'm not saying Arturo's a bad player. Arturo's a great player, actually. Arturo can play multiple characters, but Daigo only played one character, and that's Ryu. And he likes that match, maybe not, but it's still not an equal level playing field. And for Marn to lose to Cybercop, I'm still disappointed at that. I had high hopes on Marn making top 32 this year. I was like, oh, Marn's going to come to top 32. He's going to be such a threat. He's going to kill so many people. You know, I had so much hope on Marn. I was like, Marn's going to make it. Because I love catching up to Marn. If I haven't told you that, every time Marn is in a tournament, I want to place higher than him. I said, if Marn makes top 8, I want to be top 4. That's how I think. Because, you know, that's what sparks my competition. And Marn can tell you, at West Coast Warzone, I said, if Marn's going to get top 8, so am I.
Oh, man. Uh-oh, he wants to come on the radio. Marn wants to come on the radio. Hold on for a second. He had some,
I'm not even putting him on blast. I'm just saying I was disappointed.
Okay, yeah.
He wants to go on and rectify his statement, but I was just disappointed that he lost to CyberCop. You know why? Because I have beaten CyberCop at the break tournaments, and I don't know why he lost, especially since we're talking about counter matches. You know, because Marn was definitely playing Rufus versus Dalsim. And if anyone plays Street Fighter 4, you know that's a terrible match for Dalsim. Terrible. But he lost, so I'm disappointed.
Okay.
You know, he can come on the show if he wants to, but I'm just saying, I'm always trying to catch up to these top players because every time, if Justin said he's going to get first, I would at least say I want to get second, you know. Even though I can't beat him, maybe, but I still want to get second or first, you know. I want to catch up to these players.
Oh man, yeah, he's
He can come on the show and defend himself because of this thing I said, but I think Marn's a great player regardless. But losing to CyberCop, disappointing to me.
All right, hold on for a second. Accept the dang invite. Alright. Alright, so people, by the way, if you're just joining us, this is Bunkei, you know, doing some temporary hosting again. I got Henry Cen, it says the great golden Henry Cen, from China Fair, and we're just really talking about some things about Triforce, about Empire, and of course what's going on this year's Evolution, and I'm trying to get Marn on here, but he says that he has not received anything from me.
Oh, and to clarify one thing, Chinatown is one word. It's not separated. It's not China and space town.
Okay.
Just to clarify with people, everyone thinks it's Chinatown. It's one word.
I've always seen it as one word. Okay. All right, here you go. What's up, Marn?
Oh, we in there. What's up?
Oh, we have Marn the Great. Marn the Great.
What's going on, man? So, all right, so, I mean, I didn't see you in match versus RoboCop, but what happened now?
RoboCop, dude.
Cybercop. I'm sorry.
Alright. What happened was, I underestimated him, because I saw Flash rape the crap out of him at ECT, and I was like, this guy sucks. And then he just started grabbing me, and I couldn't do anything. I just died. Yeah.
Oh, there was this thing that me and Marn had, because I went to West Coast Warzone, and I said, my whole goal is to place higher than Marn. I said, every tournament I enter, if my whole goal is to place better than Marn. That's all it was.
Did it once at EVO. Congratulations, bro. Congrats.
Yeah. I believe you were supposed to do something if something happened. I don't know what I said at West Coast Warzone, but I believe you were supposed to do something.
But I won.
I placed higher than you.
By the way, was you playing Viper?
Against who?
Against Cop.
Bro, Cop?
Yeah.
Rufus.
Oh, he's playing Rufus. Oh, okay.
Yeah, my Viper died.
Let's
Dang,
ask Marn some questions about Empire, because he's affiliated with them.
Oh yeah. So you saw the latest video,
Uh-huh.
and so what do you have to say about what Triforce did about you guys?
Dude, without Empire, Justin wouldn't be who Justin is, man.
Huh?
You really think so?
No?
So, that means Triforce has helped Justin, like, trained him to become...
I think if anything, Eddie Lee should get credit, and that's it, not Empire.
Oh, you
so
said
now
that. Oh, okay.
So now you're saying that Empire did not make Justin, right?
No.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Because okay.
I could have said I made Justin. If I got to Justin first and was like, hey, I got a business. Hey, want to join my business, dude? And then I got Justin. I was like, oh, I made Justin, but I really didn't. I just was like, hey, I'm gonna give you a bunch of lies, and then you're gonna
Well, let me ask you a question. When you was part of Empire, did they pay for your plane tickets, or for travel or for hotel stays and whatnot? Like what Evil Genius is doing with you guys. Did you get that with Empire as well, or?
They paid for us to go to one tournament. It was Game Unicon, which the guy went off and tried to kill himself and robbed people, and we all took a bus, like a 40-man bus, to Game Unicon.
Hey, Bunkei.
Yeah.
Can I stop you for a moment? I just want to ask Marn a question. Marn, you stole me $60, so when are you gonna pay up?
Oh wow.
I think it was actually 65 because I lost to you in a money match somehow. Wait, I beat you in a match, fool.
No. I just want to make sure everyone knows that everyone owes me something.
I won that money match.
Everybody owes me something.
No,
Even though you're a top player, you're gonna owe me something.
No, that was a money match for $60 at EVO, Viper versus Honda, and I beat you, fool.
No, that wasn't $60. That was for $7. You didn't say $60.
Why would it be $7?
$7.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
But besides that point,
Besides that now, are you kidding? Dude.
Besides that point, so what has Triforce said that was a lie? I just want to know, because you're saying Triforce lies. I think there's a difference between trying to do something and lying about it. So, because I never heard anyone say Triforce lies. So I want to know what Marn means by that.
I don't think I am in jeopardy to talk about that right now. I mean,
okay, this is AlphaISM Radio. Come on now, man. It's only. There's 10 people listening on a good night. That's a good night.
So you want me to just say something that he lied to me personally about?
Yeah,
Sure.
you say he's lying. You're saying Triforce is lying. I don't think Triforce is lying.
Alright,
He's
check
just
it out.
he's just making promises that he can't keep. That's not a lie. That's not lying, in my opinion.
let's say about 2 months ago, there was a girl named Persia. She went to the art to make the website.
Shout out to Ben Fong.
She went to the art to make a website, and Triforce was stalling on giving her what she needed to make the website. He was more worried about rent money, and he needed $1,000 rent money to pay the rent. What happened was Persia was about to leave because she was like, I can't deal with this, I'm out. And I was like, I will give Triforce the money if you stay. And she was like, alright. So I gave him the money, and I was like, Triforce, buy ECT. I want my money back, or you're gonna owe me $2,000. And he was like, alright. That was a stipulation. So after ECT, I didn't get anything. I was like, what's up, Triforce? Where's my money? And he's like, I can't get it to you yet. So then he spends like 2-3 days to get me my money back, but he only gives me some of it, right? And I'm like, so you owe me $2,000, right? And he was like, no, dude, what you said was, if I didn't pay you back at all, I would owe you $2,000 in a month. And I was like, are you serious, dude? And that's why I just left Empire. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm out.
See, aren't you glad you tuned into AlphaISM Radio? See, nowhere else will you hear the dirty, dirty stuff that we're hearing right now. By the way, I got my man Larry on here. ShinBlanka, creator, founder around the second greatest tournament on the face of this damn earth. How you doing, my friend?
What's going on?
What's up, Larry?
You just missed the story, man. You just missed the story.
Oh, what up, Marn?
Wait, Bunkei. Let's ask Marn that question that without Justin, would Marn be in the Empire? Without Justin. If Justin was not an Empire, would you still be an EMP member?
I wouldn't know if Triforce would approach me or not, but if Triforce approached me and was like, you will get a free shirt with your contract, I would sign.
That is the honest, that's the most clever, honest answer I've ever heard from Marn.
That was the same answer that he gave last time on the show. I remember that. On the same
man.
podcast.
I love shirts, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
shirts.
So let me ask you a question, Marn. Today is August the 7th, 2010. Approximately 6:04 p.m. Pacific time.
Right?
Right now, does Triforce still owe you money?
No, he does not owe me money.
So, okay. Well, that's good. He finally made good eventually.
But the thing is, there's a catch to that.
Oh.
To get my release statement from Empire, I had to clear my debt. So I said, if you release me from Empire, you don't owe me any money.
Oh.
So is that the deal with Quanba, the joystick manufacturer, which apparently doesn't have any rights to make Street Fighter or Tekken joysticks?
I don't know anything about the deal. I don't know anything about that. I wouldn't talk about anything like that. I would just tell what happened to me. I have logs, and I am only saying this because Triforce told a story about me that no one was supposed to know. So I'm telling one story, so we're 1-to-1 now. You see? I don't know anything about Canva. I don't know anything about anything else. So, yeah.
Who's playing?
Well, I've only heard stuff from Ben Fong about the Quanba that they were trying to license players from the Empire to put on their Empire So stick. I'm not sure, but Quanba itself is a shady company itself also, so I'm not sure how they license people when they can't even get official license from Capcom or Namco, So,
I have a question to ask about how can I word this? So, now that you guys are out of Empire, you're part of the Evil Genius, what's the biggest difference between Evil Genius and Empire as far as the business aspect?
Well, it's just, like, I don't know if, did you listen to AlphaISM radio when Alex was on the show? It was me, Alex, and Justin.
Yeah, I think I was recording that, yeah.
Yeah, like, did you not see how, like, Alex was pretty much upfront about everything, not, like, being like, I'm not at liberty to say anything, blah, 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 blah. Like, he's pretty much straightforward about everything, like, and they're not, like, I'm not gonna say shady about everything, like Empire was. They're just upfront about everything. They'll tell me, like, I'm not supposed to do this, I'm not supposed to do that, and, like, they'll be upfront with me. And I don't think they talk behind my back. I'm pretty sure Empire does.
People talk behind people's back all the time. That's what gossip is about.
People gossip like little hoes. Yeah, it's sad. It's that click shit and that
But
damn.
people do it regardless.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, man, that's some whole shit. Some people need to grow some nuts, say it and say whatever they got to say in people's face. You know what I'm saying? You can't say it to their face and keep your mouth shut. How about that?
Yeah. I mean,
They should.
I say a lot of stuff all the time, too.
Gamers usually don't care what they say because they don't give a shit.
All right. Well, but by the way, Marn, since you're declaring your debt, so you need to go ahead and take care of Henry, man. It's not good to be out there owing people money like that.
Dude, I beat him in a money match for that money. Are you kidding me?
$7.
It was not $7.
I mean,
it was full shipping price. The people were there. They witnessed me beat Henry Cen for free. That was free.
So
Here
it
we
was
go
for free.
with
So
this
you still owe him
stuff.
$55 then.
What?
You just said you beat him for free, so that means there was no money on the line. So that you owe him $55.
I meant the game was free because Henry's free to me.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Damn.
we'll not talk about who's better because it doesn't make any sense to talk about it because Marn doesn't have a gold stick. So
I do have a gold stick, actually. I painted my stick gold. What's up? What's up? Oh?
Really? Is it officially a Mad Catz product that you painted?
Yes, it is a Mad Catz product.
Marn, please tell me you didn't do that.
I totally did that with my round one stick. What's good?
No, man. Come on, man. You
No,
didn't
that's
do that.
pretty pathetic. That's pretty pathetic.
You
Dude,
didn't do that, Marn.
dude, Henry wanted to know when I did it. What's good?
Oh my
Hell
God.
to the dog.
Oh,
You should
gosh.
put my gold stick on it, too. Fuck it.
There's a golden stick waiting for me in mid-cow. There.
Fuck mid-cow.
Hey, man.
There's no such thing as mid-cow. Shut up. Stop that talk. Why do you start talking about that shit when I get off?
Man, because you have you're in denial, man. I mean, I proved it
Whatever.
on the last
I'm not
show.
even going to get into this with you. Anyway, I'm not getting into
I
Fuck
proved it
that.
beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, should I go back to the last? I mean, I can go back to the log.
No,
I mean,
you don't have to go back to nothing. Anyway,
What's mid-cow?
exactly. No.
yeah.
No,
So
Marn, no.
mid-cow,
Marn,
there's
no.
north-cow, there's mid-cow, and there's southern cow.
All right, how long you been staying in California now, Marn?
A month and a half.
Okay.
I
How
don't know.
many times have you visited to California?
About 4 or 5 times.
Have you ever heard of Mid-Cal?
No.
Okay. All right. I told you what northern cow, I told you mid-cow, I told you southern cow. So, knowing that, Sacramento is where?
NorCal.
No, you idiot, is in mid-cow.
What the hell is a mid-cow?
Not mid-cow, mid-cow.
Yeah, what is a mid-Cali?
Mid-Cal is in
California.
between
That's what
North.
he's trying to say, not mid-Cal. Mid-Cali.
Dude,
Mid-Cal.
Okay. I have a color chart for you to look at. Hold on for a second. I have
Wikipedia says Northern California includes Sacramento.
this wiki. Okay, do you believe everything on Wikipedia?
Hell yeah, that shit worked me through high school, man.
Hey, tell him, Marn.
Okay. All right. It says I have shown beyond a reasonable doubt.
Show me the link or it don't exist. And nobody else show it to him.
Hey,
show
Neff, go. Can you do me a favor? Could you grab that site with the horses?
No, fuck the horses.
That
See,
mean that.
This is what we had a discussion last week. Somebody brought up some damn mythical equestrian, and they call it mid-cal. So now he just feel like he's justified.
It does.
Fuck them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Neff. Midcal.ponyclub.org. That tells you right there that Midcal exists.
I actually have a question for
Pony
Marn.
Club, bro.
You can even join Midcal on Facebook.
Marn. Yo,
Are you
Marn.
serious? Dude, I could be like, my dick Pony Club, and it'd be the same shit. Like, it don't matter.
Is your dick in Midcal?
Dude, no, but it's a fucking Pony Club. Dude, my...
Okay.
You know what? Let's just keep my mouth shut.
Yo, I got a question for Marn.
But,
Alright. Say EG didn't get a third member, right?
Right.
Was there any talk about any other players that were going to be sponsored?
I don't think I am at liberty to say that, but there were obvious people, but no one from the East Coast.
Alright, no one from the East Coast. Okay, that's good to know. Were
Anyone
there
from
any
Midcal?
number of players in the West Coast? Like a number.
Yes, Midcal.
We don't want to know names. We just want to know a number. How many other players were there considering?
Including Midcal.
Just Street Fighter 4 or Tekken?
I'll just say just Street Fighter.
One.
There's one other player.
Yes.
Okay. But there are no other East Coast players.
No one was talked to about EG on the East Coast. So people saying that Sanford was going to leave Empire for EG were completely wrong.
Yeah. Nobody from mid-cal, right, Marn?
No one from Mid-Cal.
Okay.
No one from my dick either. I mean, I don't...
You know what? Like I said, the truth normally, people revile the truth before they accept it. So I mean, I know what I know.
Just, have you ever heard of Mid-Cal? No, Justin has not heard of Mid-Cal either.
He stays in Southern Cal.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's no Mid-Cal.
He's new to California too. I mean, listen, I already showed you the site.
Whatever, man. Whatever. My
Marn.
Little Ponies.
Marn, I got-
That's the only people that believe in that.
I got another question. If
Right.
someone was to offer you a T-shirt, would you move back to the East Coast?
No. Because
If
this
Triforce
deal-
were to
No,
offer
no,
you a T-shirt, would you
no.
move back?
Because in this deal, I get everything paid for and a shirt. So unless you top that deal, I am not going anywhere. And even if you did top that deal, my contract is for a year. Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but I am not leaving EG for anyone unless people give me $1 million, like Triforce wanted for Justin. So
So you're saying Triforce tried to offer Justin $1 million?
no, the thing was if someone wanted to buy out Justin from his Empire contract for $1 million, they could do that.
Thank you, T. Burnout. There's a book called The Geological History of Middle California.
Dude, okay, look. Amir's lived in California his whole life, and he's like, I don't think there's a Mid-Cal.
Dude, there's a book on Amazon that says
Fuck your book.
Geological History of Middle California. You
Fuck
can't.
your book.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a book on, like, my dick, too, but you don't see me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see too many readers on that one. So I'm going back to what I said before. There is a book. Yeah, here we go.
Yo, you can quote me on that. Fuck your book.
Not my book.
Well, let's.
Fuck your
I
book.
want to ask
with
Marn a
orange
question
dick.
about. I want to ask Marn a question, and would you think if there was no Empire, would the community be better or worse?
Ooh. I honestly think that Empire was at least a step up, to be honest. Even though Triforce has done what he's done and everyone else has done what they've done, it's a step up because, like, I mean, before Empire, no one was interested in the fighting game community. They didn't want to do anything, and Empire tried to fix that. Like, his idea was good, but he couldn't execute.
Who's that playing?
Justin,
Who's he playing?
Hey, Marn.
playing Goken.
By the way, I need everyone to sign my new petition to make Shingoken playable. Super Street Fighter 4.
Fuck are you talking about, man?
Man, he needs
You want
to
them
be
to make Shingoku?
Okay,
That's right, man.
let's ask Marn to confirm
Well,
something.
what's his location on the map? Mid-Cal?
Yeah,
When they
because
show it
the
on
old,
the map,
the old
it'd be
Asian
Mid-Cal
temple,
shit.
as you can see by the stars, the old Asian temple obviously is in Middle California.
Oh, okay. That's where it'd be.
Yeah.
And he'll be
Great.
fighting on the, in the fucking cave or in the fucking tree?
Either or.
No, the redwoods are in, like, above Sacramento, right? So, you said that was Mid-Cal. Now, how can something be north of fucking... I ain't even gonna get into that fucking... I can't reason
Let's go back
with
to
you.
the Henry Cen confirmation thing.
Oh,
you talking
yeah,
about?
Mark. I want to ask you a question.
So,
What would you think about a final round West Coast?
final round West Coast.
Yeah.
It's always better to have, like, I believe, majors on the West Coast because there's more abundance of players and, like, people would drive to your tournament. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's buses. There's some people who, like, go, but, you know, it'd be good because California really doesn't have any majors except for EVO, NorCal Regionals, West Coast Warzone.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's not really many majors because, you know, East Coast has NEC final round. Well, I guess that's not much.
Season beatings.
Seasons being all of that. But yeah, it'd be.
I just want to clarify things. Like, people have been posting this website, what's it called? To Catch an Emperor, blogspot.com. Is that real or fake?
How would I know? I believe it's real.
You believe it's real?
I believe it's real.
You believe it?
Do you want to know why I believe it's real?
Yes, I want to know why you believe it's real.
Alright, so I believe it's real, but, you know, there's no confirmation, but, like, someone linked me the banana dick picture, right? And the thing is, like, Triforce claims it's not his picture, right? But if you look at the floor tiles and Empire video floor tiles, it's the same tile.
Hold on. Are we talking about old dude's fucking tallywhacker right now?
Dude, someone linked me a fucking tiny Earl picture thing, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I was like, oh, shit, what the fuck is that shit? But I closed it, but, you know, I saw the floor tiles, and, you know,
Okay.
tallywhacker.
So, you recognize the floor tile because you've been at the Arc.
Yes,
So it was the same tile.
yes.
So this
So-
is
So that
CSS
means,
shit right here.
So-
CSI.
yeah, so that means that rumor is actually true then.
I will not confirm. I am not
Or
shitting.
deny.
I'm not doing anything. But yes. it is the same floor tiles. But maybe, maybe there are pictures on Google where it's the same floor tiles, it's the same whatever tallywhacker, whatever. Who knows?
I don't even want to know what you guys are talking about. I mean, I'm just going to pass on this one.
Oh, so it has to do something with Triforce. So there's been this rumor that said that this girl, Alina, has been trolling the Empire, and then she posted this blog. It was all around Evo. People were talking about it, but I didn't know if it was real or not. I didn't see no picture, or whatever. It was just posted about words. And Triforce has said that it was all conjured and made up, but Marn said he did see a picture now, so I'm sort of leaning towards I believe it. That it wasn't a troll, it was a real conversation.
Okay, let me. I took a look at that hilarious log, and I see no obvious signs of tampering, because at the very beginning of the log, he's talking about making her a top player and having Yipes train her, stuff like that. And that to me,
She did beat me, by the way. She did beat me, and then he was watching that, so that's confirmed too, actually.
So I mean, so the beginning of it looks very plausible. So and the way he leads into the conversation, I mean, nothing looks out of place. It look. I don't know if he was drunk or what have you, but when he's talking about the bowl of soul, and taking a dip and all of that, I mean, I was just, I couldn't believe it. That dude is a freak, and not in a good way. I mean, if that really was him saying that, I mean, that's some restraining order BS right there. I mean, I just don't know what went over his mind when he said that. I honestly don't.
Who the fuck are y'all talking about? Because obviously I ain't seen no picture, or what I'm saying. I heard the rumor, but that's about it. I don't know who it is. Was it some chick who play on Xbox or something?
Yeah, I think she's like a Quake player or something, like some old Quake. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So Marn, is Justin there to answer some questions or to talk?
No, he's busy right now. He's giving lessons.
He's giving lessons.
Yeah.
So Marn, are you gonna start charging for lessons also?
I'm gonna start doing endless battles. For a good amount. It's gonna work out.
A good amount?
Huh?
A good amount, or are you charging it for free?
Yeah.
Hey, I meant to ask you a question. I want you to ask Justin this question too. Do you guys plan on going to Evo Japan?
Yes, most likely.
Okay.
Why?
I'm just asking. I mean, I know it's ways out, but I assume it's going to be somewhere in like around January or February. I would assume.
I am from inside sources. I have heard May 2011.
That close to Evolution?
Yes.
Interesting.
But I mean, it's just a rumor. It could be earlier or later. It's not like obviously the Ponders and Wizard aren't telling me anything, so I mean, who knows? The guy who told me could be making it up. Whatever.
Oh, Marn, who do you think are the top 5 East Coast players right now?
Ponders, I mean the Cannons, whatever. Shut up. What's up?
I asked you your opinion on the top 5 East Coast players right now.
Top 5 East Coast players?
Yes.
You want the
Who do you
honest
think-
truth?
Yeah, the honest truth. Who are the top 5 right now?
Certainly not the person playing the geef in the background.
Number 1, I would put I don't know. Are we doing what I think of the players or tournament results?
No, what you think of the players, man?
Yeah, what do you
Fuck
think?
tournament results. Your own opinion.
My own opinion. Then number one, I would think. Oh my God, I don't want to say it, but I think Arturo.
Okay. Why you don't want to say it? Fuck it. Say it.
Because I hate the dude.
I know you do.
Arturo. But
But speak the truth.
second, I think is Flash.
Okay.
Third, I think Sanford. Fourth, Henry. And fifth, I'm gonna put Yipes.
What happened to Sanford?
Sanford.
He said Sanford third, man.
Sanford third? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I would put Flash first over Arturo, but the thing is, like, people would be like, well, your favorite choice is Flash because he's one of your best friends, blah, blah, blah.
No, man. We said what you think.
But
Fuck what other
Flash,
people say.
Arturo, Sanford, Henry, Yipes.
Okay.
What about, why don't you ask Justin the same question?
Justin, top 5, East Coast. He's not answering.
Alright, what about top 5 West Coast?
Top 5 West Coast. Yeah. Justin, Ricki.
Make sure you include mid-cow.
Fuck man, Cal.
Justin, Ricki. I'm not gonna put me in this top 5 because I don't want haters. So
Put yourself in the top 5. What's wrong with that?
Marn.
just Ricki, Valle.
Fuck
What's up?
that, Marn. Fuck that. Put yourself in there if you feel like it.
Justin, Ricki, me, me, Valle, and
Tatsu?
no, not Tatsu.
Shady?
No, not Shady. Kino or Mike Ross?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know who's better because they're both good, and I believe that they're both on the same level.
No Van?
Huh? Oh, Vance. Vance is good.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
all I
Vance.
know.
Vance.
I mean, I ain't trying to change your mind.
Actually-
now. Just,
I don't know.
I mean, it's a lot of killers out on the West Coast. That's why we ask your opinion.
No combo fiend. Interesting.
Kamo's playing Guy, and his Guy is like the best guy I've ever played in my life. But I don't think that...
Hold on, Combo play guy now?
Yeah, he plays Guy now. Guy only.
Damn. Okay.
So, are you guys coming to Summer Jam next week?
Probably not. I haven't heard anything about anything, so probably not.
No?
Yeah.
Hey, Larry. Day says bring final round out west.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, I ain't breaking no news right now because I'm still poor. But when I become unpoor, then, aka, you know, not pay for everything out of my own pocket for final round, then you may see something somewhere else besides, you know, Atlanta when it concerns final round. Well, Atlanta and Japan.
Says he
We
had
got
an
the
extra
final
copy of
round
Tekken
back.
6 for you, too.
What?
Says he got an extra copy of Tekken 6 for you.
You got an extra copy of Tekken 6. Okay.
Oh.
We got plenty of Tekkens here.
I want to revisit this topic right quick because remember, Larry, last week I was telling you I was looking for a big third strike expert. Now we got one with Cen on the phone. So yes or no, Henry? Should they just do a straight arcade translation of Third Strike for Third Strike Online, or should they attempt to balance it?
I don't think they should attempt to balance it. They should do a straight port. There's nothing to balance in Third Strike. People like the game as it is.
Okay, that's fair. But wouldn't you? But the argument is, if they don't do anything different, then how are we going to get more people involved in Third Strike if they're not going to change anything?
If they want to change the graphics, fine. But gameplay-wise, don't touch it. That's my opinion.
So the game is perfect the way it is?
The game is perfect the way it is. Nothing wrong with it. You can still win with Q. You can still win with 12. Those characters are still playable. It's not like Super, where you can't play Makoto in tournaments. In Third Strike, you can still play these characters in tournaments. They still can't win.
Any comments?
Since Marn's with Justin, I would like to ask Justin if he wins in Japan, does that make up for his loss this year?
Obviously, it does.
Duh. Come on, Bunk.
I didn't ask
Yeah,
that.
that's a. Oh, my bad. I apologize.
That's a Henry question. I'm just asking if he feels like it makes up for this year if he wins even Japan.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it? It's Japan.
But I think let me ask it this
Oh,
way.
no. Let me ask a question. Are you gonna fucking play with Dudley, or you
Yeah.
gonna hold out and run the fucking run the Rufus?
No,
Are
I've
you
been
gonna fucking?
I've been playing a lot of Dudley, dude. Like I only want to play
All
Dudley.
right, man. I told you at fucking Evo. I told you, just fuck it.
And
Play
this,
who you fucking like.
and this will probably be my last question because I feel like I'm not the host of the show, but I don't want to be asking all the questions. But Marn, and this is to Marn and Justin, is there anything that you could have done better this year?
At Evo or
Yes,
Evo?
at
Oh.
Evo.
Dude, obvious. Of course, like we did make it out. I didn't make it out of pools. I lost a random. I picked the wrong character against Edma, and that's it. Justin, no comment.
Do you feel like that Evo is getting like the World Series of Poker? Like it's really hard to get through the waves of people? Or do
Yeah.
you feel like you just mentally didn't do it this time? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you took some people for granted and it snuck up on you. Do you feel like it? Because someone made that comment to me. They asked me. I was like, man, there was a whole ass of people there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, what's your opinion on that?
When you put your guard down just for a little bit, it just screws everything over. Like, I believe like if I didn't go into the match with Cyber Cop with the mentality that I was just gonna run over him and win the match, I would have made it out of pools.
Okay. So the analogy of, it growing into being like the World Series of Poker, do you feel that that's an accurate, statement?
There's a lot more skill in this than.
Oh, yeah, of course. There's no luck in what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's fucking random. You know what I'm saying? And the tournament is random. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying our community equivalent of the World Series of Poker, how big it is, how many competitors we have. You know what I'm saying? And, top players like yourself and Justin, got to keep yourself sharp when you're thinking that you're playing against a lesser opponent. Not disrespecting the opponent, but when you see somebody in front of you that's not a name, of course we're all human. You're just thinking, hey, I'm just gonna go and whoop this motherfucker up, going back and sit back and wait for my next match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
You know what?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a follow-up question, Marn. do you think that the amount of players that were not from either from America or Japan kind of puts us on notice that Street Fighter 4 has evolved to the point that we just can't be solely looking at Japan?
No, not at all. Like, we own everybody other than Japan. Are you serious? Like, GamerBee got lucky.
Oh, okay.
Back.
Okay.
Other than that, like Europe didn't do anything. Tokido and Eita, who like won Guard Garden and won the France tournament, they didn't make top 8. They lost to Americans. Like,
Hey,
what else can you say?
look at him.
Mark,
Okay.
what's the next tournament that you're gonna go to?
I'm going to a tournament tomorrow. SBO qualifiers.
No, I'm talking about the next American tournament, a large-scale American tournament.
Seasons Beatings is the only one that I can confirm right.
No, okay.
Oh yeah, seasons beating is gonna be that hotness. You know, Chris and Robert throw a great event every year. I advise everybody who haven't been, go out.
Season Beating is a fantastic event. I can tell you, they have great food there for a tournament. Unbelievable. They have drinks, bowling. Can't go wrong in that tournament. That's one of the best places I ever had a tournament at.
Yep. The most
What's
fun
that place called again? Pomo's?
Momos.
Yeah,
Momo's,
that's the only
sorry.
place I know that serves drinks and hot food. Hot, really Asian.
Good food too.
Okay, so America owns everybody else but Japan. Okay, that wasn't the response I was expecting, but okay, fair enough. There you go. Well, so we still almost the cream of the crop anyway. Where is that noise coming from? Larry,
Yo, what up?
I think you're getting feedback when you laugh.
Oh my bad. Hold on. Let me cut this fan off.
Oh.
That better?
Oh yeah, 'cause I know it's hotter than Satan's asshole down there. So, all right.
bad.
So I mean, Justin's not saying much, so I guess I shouldn't. Even,
Justin is teaching right now.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's cool.
At least that's what Marn said. You know what I'm saying? So
Let's see. When is season meetings anyway?
October 15th to 17th.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
damn, you do got a computer in front of you, right?
It's my computer's in mid-cap.
Yeah.
All right.
Your computer is in mid-cal. Okay.
Where my heart is. All right. Goodness gracious. Henry, by the way, like, how soon, knowing that Super 4 comes out in December on arcade, how soon you think your baby will have it?
Well, that depends. When it comes out in December, if it's mid-December, it might not reach American soil because we do have Christmas the last few weeks. So it may interfere with shipping. But if it comes out early December, like the first week, we most likely will probably have it. You know, I'm probably going to build 2 new cabinets for it too.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Henry, why don't you tell Larry what you heard from your distributor about why they delayed it to December?
Oh,
Yeah,
because they delayed it to December because they said they're going to have at least more than 2 characters, and he said probably
Really?
6. Yes.
Okay. Fuck you, Ben.
I know I'm always right, but you know.
Nah, good shit. Okay. All
Well,
right.
you know.
You're right. You was right, I was wrong. Fine.
It said at least more than 2 because this is not Blaze Blue charging
Well, that's cool,
$3,000.
man. Actually, I want to come up to fucking Chinatown Fair, man. I need to get my old ass out there. Visit your establishment.
I mean, shoot, man. If I had the money, I'd move out there temporarily until it comes out on console.
So if you ever see a 6'4" Negro with a white cap and some stunners on, some kind of Atlanta gear on, then you'll know it's me.
All right, I will.
Shoot, I'm happy. I mean, you know what? I'm happy that there are arcades still around. To be honest with you, because it is a labor of love. I mean, I don't see people become millionaires because of it. So,
Oh no, man! I've been through the process of trying to get one started. So I mean, for people who's doing it, Henry and Ryan and other people that's doing it around the nation, man, I have to applaud them because I mean, I couldn't afford to do it. I mean, I wasn't about to put my house up to start it. It's such a iffy business right now.
It is really iffy.
And I was gonna do it when Street Fighter 4 Vanilla was first released, and then 7 months later. Yeah, let me ask you that, Henry. How did you feel when the console version came out and it had like fucking uber more characters in it? You know what I'm saying?
All right, I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later.
Oh,
all right, take it
Okay.
easy, Marn.
It is.
Right.
I think that there's always a drop in sales, percentage-wise. So I was thinking that it was going to drop like 50%. That's a hard drop in sales, but it actually didn't drop that much because, like, the Street Fighter players didn't play the console characters that much because they can't beat the arcade characters because the arcade characters were so much better than the console characters. Like, Rose wasn't that good. Sakura wasn't that good compared to the characters in the arcade. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that made a difference. Like, there's so many characters in the console that weren't that good. Especially Zangief beat all the console characters. So it didn't make a lot of people. It didn't like Capcom didn't do a good job on balancing the console characters.
So what do you think about Super? Do you think they did a better job balancing the console characters?
I think in Vanilla, the console version characters are better.
Okay.
But the new characters that they added weren't so great, you see? So I'm thinking maybe when they make another revision, the current console characters that came out, those new characters will be more balanced and more playable. Those new console characters won't go straight to the bottom.
That's right, Makoto lovers.
At least Makoto, Hakan, these characters will actually be playable in tournaments.
Yeah. Okay, I feel you.
Like T-Hawk, there's a lot of these characters.
Oh my god, man! I had to drop him like after the first week. He's so fucking slow. Will they give him something that he can focus off of? I mean, really, he can't focus shit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, once they improve upon those characters, I think the game will be more balanced. But every time they come up with these new characters in Street Fighter, they don't seem to be that good because I think Capcom's trying to take a conservative point and say, I don't want these characters to be too overpowered. I don't want them, to be better than the existing characters. I think they're just playing it safe, which they don't need to. But
No, I don't think they need to. Also, do you believe in making a game better by nerfing, or do you believe in beefing characters? Because my personal belief is beef the characters, leave the top tier alone. A character that's strong, leave them alone, and just beef characters if you're gonna do anything.
Well, since I played a lot of World of Warcraft, I'm gonna tell you it's easier to nerf than to improve.
Yeah.
It's very easy. You could just, because I'm gonna nerf Sagat, it's easy, right? You don't have to do anything else, because that's the main problem, right? That's the problem. they don't want to make new problems by saying, "Oh, we'll make this move better." You don't know what will occur, but it's easier to nerf a character than to make other characters better.
Well, what about characters that don't have knockdowns? I know, of course, I'm biased because I like Blanka, but hell, I would like one reversal that fucking knocks you down. I mean, besides a throw and a sweep or a fucking slide. I mean,
I don't think Blanka needs it because his Ultra has so many setups.
That's true.
His Ultra 1 is so ambiguous, it's like 50-50 if you do that on knockdown correctly.
Yeah.
But his Ultra 2, I don't know, it could be improved upon. Could be.
Like a slight bit more faster, like startup. Because hell, man, it's unless they're crossing you up. I mean, most people can just safe jump it. And
Well, I do see Capcom's side with Blanka with the Ultra 2. It has 2 functions instead of 1. So, but there are some supers that I don't understand. Like Abel, his Ultra 2, that's one Ultra I don't understand what Capcom was thinking.
That was like Abel's gonna be number 1, bitch. That was what they were thinking of.
I'm gonna grip your ass. Some more. What's my homeboy off KOF? Ralph Clark. Yeah, that's like
but
Clark on crack.
that Ultra has so many properties, right?
Yeah.
It's a grab.
Power armor.
It's 3 frames. It's a 3-frame grab.
Yep.
Right. It has range.
You can cancel it.
You can cancel it. You can't be grabbed out of it.
Nope.
Right. It's like it has 5 different functions in one Ultra. It's so good. It has so many different functions that I don't understand why it's in there.
I think they really do. I really think that was the case. I really think they said they wanted. It looked like that they actually wanted to have a say in what they want, what characters should be top tier and what characters shouldn't. And it's just obvious that with Abel, they wanted him to be.
Well, Ultra don't make a person that great, I wouldn't think.
It don't mean not
on the
any
flip
Ultra.
side, what about the flip side with Akuma's roller copter and the odd fucking motion you got to do for that? Did that just pretty much deter people from even trying to use that shit?
I don't know the
personally think
purpose
it
of that
does.
Ultra. Honestly, with you, I don't know why would anyone choose that over the Raging Demon. I don't understand it. So I don't. But with Abel, I mean, they gave him not just any ordinary Ultra, they gave him the buffest Ultra ever conceived in the Street Fighter 4.
That is the Bulbous Ultra.
I mean, it's just, it's nuts. I mean, when I thought I was being trolled when they talked about the properties of the Ultra when they was releasing the changes for Abel. I'm like, oh no, that can't be true.
And it also has armor. I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said it has armor. So, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty great Ultra. I personally think projectile Ultras, well, I won't say projectile Ultra, I just say any Ultra you can combo, I feel is better than some old surprise catcher. Seems like the old I'm gonna catch you with an Ultra. Well, that one will work because it's so fucking fast. But most Ultras that's like that ain't worth a shit.
I think I'm gonna go too, guys. I gotta eat some dinner.
Oh.
All
All right,
take it
man.
easy.
Nice
Getting
talking.
late.
Thanks for
But
coming
I had a
on.
great conversation. I just wanted some last remarks to say about the Empire and all the gamers. Triforce is a great guy if you talk to him. His ideas are bad or poorly executed, but Empire still has great people. They still affect every other gamer in the it's in the community. And if you want to be a top player, it doesn't mean you have to join a group, organization, or anything. You can just be yourself, and just play to win, and you'll be there. That's all I'm gonna leave it at.
Sounds fair, man.
All
Thanks
right.
for coming on. I gotta have you. You're a natural host. I gotta have you on again. Makes my job easier.
Don't
always
hate on
want somebody to
people.
do your job, man.
I know. Come on.
Man, it's,
Always.
it's all.
Thanks
It's all
against the Bunkei AlphaISM Radio. And
Alpha Razor?
see you guys next time.
Okay, take it easy, man.
Peace.
All right. Later.
All right, so it's been a pretty great show, actually. Talked about a
I'm
lot
sad
of
I
stuff.
came in on the end of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a great show, and Henry really dropped the knowledge on Triforce and the Empire, and because some of the stuff that you said in the video was just didn't sound right, lack of a better term.
Yeah, did somebody record it? I would like to hear it.
No, it's on.
Yeah.
If you go on AlphaISM.com, there's a link to it. You know.
Okay.
But really, I just wanted to. I mean, just to really.
Yeah,
summarize.
give me the Cliff Notes version of it.
No, I mean, Triforce was responding to some of the rumors going around about Empire, like the Empire's crumbling and all of that. And, of course, he says, no, it's not crumbling and that Empire will be just fine. But he also said some stuff like Empire made Justin, which I thought was, not true. Justin made Justin.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
I would definitely not agree with that at all.
So, and
Justin was going to be Justin regardless if he played on a team. As long as he played where he played against who he played. Now, if he's stating it like that, like saying, oh, Empire has so many great players, so him playing against all these great players made him into who he was, then, okay, that's his way of looking at it. But, I mean, Justin's natural ability and playing against those players made him that good.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And really he took credit for the Marvel 2 scene and that and he he was kind of hurt that
Who took credit for the Marvel 2
he
scene?
said the Empire was the reason why Marvel 2 became as hype as it was and so
Really?
yeah.
I have to disagree with that too. While they had the best players, Marvel was a phenomenon all across the country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's people that's on the West Coast would definitely disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? They had a scene just as strong as these. I don't know, man. To me, it's always been my belief that the people make the community. No one person or clique or crew or whatever the fuck don't make the community. You know what I'm saying? People can... I don't know, man. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he was kind of hurt because he said that that the finals, after the finals at Evolution, and right at the conclusion, that Empire wasn't mentioned of the organizations they think.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, they should have been mentioned. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Because
I asked Ponder, and he says Ponder basically says that he actually mentioned you. He said, well, people like Larry ShinBlanka who unselfishly give themselves for the love of the community, because the community is built on the back of people like him, versus someone who is doing it for the money and for the endorsements and such. And so it really, to me, it sounds like that Ponder kind of questions Triforce's motive as to why he has Empire.
Well, I didn't know about that part. Appreciate
yeah, he
that
said
shout out.
today.
But sorry we didn't get to speak at Evo. I saw you and your brother was busy, so I didn't want to bother y'all. But nah, man. I mean, I can't question the man motives, and I mean, if Ponder do, then that's his prerogative. I mean, there's been a lot of things out there that's been said about a lot of people. There's been a lot of shit been said about me. You know what I'm saying? So all you can do is,
But you know what?
go
But
out
you know
there
the
and do what
difference.
you can.
But you know the difference between you and Triforce, though, is that if I'm
I don't know Triforce.
I
so
don't know him either. So
I can't.
I'm looking at the
speak on a man like that.
right, but but what I'm saying is, the difference between you and Triforce as far as the organization that you both built, is that if I'm going to join an organization, then I'm going to look for progression. Do I see progression with Empire? Not really. I see a click. I see I see a social thing. With you, I see factual. Because the numbers year over year are going up. It's going up and up and up and up. That's what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm looking at it from a factual point of view, leaving the emotional stuff out of it, that's what I see.
I don't know, man. What I see is I saw Justin, Triforce, and some other kid on Empire in a commercial on them. What's that? Adult Swim, and I also seen it on the little MTV thing. So I ain't seen me on MTV. So
yeah, but okay, it says even being on MTV, but I'm talking about for the community.
Oh, okay. Well,
because I want to know. Because if his number one goal is to make money, then that's not an organization I'm going to be part of, because it's just too much chance of something going afoul. But if your number one goal is to help out the community, I'm more in line with that. Because even with Ponder, of course, they want to make a business out of it.
Well, duh. Yeah.
Right, but that's
like
not his number one.
You think I want to? I work outside all day, every day. 6 days a week for 12 hours a day. If I could make fun around, a business and actually do this for a living, then hell yeah, I would do it. I wouldn't turn my back on the community, never that, because hell, it's been so long.
But exactly. See, that's the thing, though, because because the primary goal really is for the love of the community, and if it works out where it can be a business, a successful, legitimate, on the up and up business, then that's just the cherry. That's just the whipped cream on the top. But the main goal is to, provide contribute to the community as a whole. And I think what Pounder's point was that doesn't seem like to be the main goal for Triforce as regards to Empire.
Well, there's a lot of people that, have different views of our community, how they want to, live in it or through it. That's Triforce's path. Whichever way he want to run his business is his business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the way I want to run, Found Around is my business. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, all this, little online drama, whatever, I really don't get into.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because nothing becomes of it but beef. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Beef with people ain't even fucking mad at each other. You know what I'm saying? So, on the personal note, things, comments and stuff, talking about his tallywhacker, was it his or what it's not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about that. I ain't never even tried to look it up. Don't click on links if somebody say here it is or whatever. All I know is that, I seen the man, working with Justin and Marn and whoever. I didn't know about the drama. I never asked, So people may not like how he do his, handle his business or whatever, but
you know what?
The man, I will say, he did get fighting games out there to more than just our community. You know what I'm saying? When he on MTV or reaching out and being on Adult Swim, you know what I'm saying? There's some things that a lot of people have been doing this for a long time haven't done. So obviously he did something right,
Mm-hmm.
Now you may not agree with his or what he does or whatever, but at least he took a small flashlight and got it shined on our community at one time or another.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether, the truth of, Empire going down or this, that, and the other, obviously he felt like he had to make a video about it, explaining that it's not this, that, and the other. But, hell, I ain't never met him. You know what I'm saying? He ain't never did nothing towards flying around to piss me off, so I ain't got no ill will towards him, you know.
Neither do I. I just take in, you know, when he says some certain comments, I just think that doesn't ring true, you know. And that's the part that I, you know, now what he does in his personal life is his own business. But I also said earlier that if you are going to be a CEO of a company, a growing company, and you want to network with other companies to grow your own, then you got to stay above reproach. You know, you can't be getting involved, as you said, you can't be getting involved in these dramas and these situations with certain people in the community and have that stuff all aired out for everybody to read it, because that only hurts you.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
it hurts you, it hurts your reputation.
You know, I mean, that's my own thing, you know. So, I mean, that's really the only thing I can really say about him as a person is just, you know, just got to keep it above reproach. You know, I mean, it's just like, as I said earlier, my job, obviously, I can't go to work saying the same stuff I say on the radio. I mean, that'd be a very temporary job real quick. You know?
Okay, so was this your answer to the topic you asked me, or what the topic should be? You just called up some people and cooked this up.
No, this started in Capcom about 6 hours ago.
Okay, I know you asked me. I was like, you know, talking about the drama, and I ain't want to be responsible for you.
No, the video was what started. I watched the video and say, oh heck no. I said, oh, we're gonna talk about this. And Cen was I won't say he was heated, but he was definitely emphatic about some of the stuff that Triforce said in the video. So I just thought I'd offer him a platform to get a chance to do a rebuttal of the stuff that was said in the video, and he did a great job.
Okay, obviously I haven't seen the video, so you know, I don't know if I can form an opinion without seeing it. But but the Cliff Notes version, you were saying that he said that Empire made Justin.
Yeah.
Did he say he made Justin or Empire made Justin?
I can't remember exactly, but I just remember it's either or.
Because it's different. If a person says, I made Justin, then that's saying that me as a person made Justin who he is. If he said Empire did, then maybe he's saying his organization and his, you know, players made Justin. I personally don't believe that. I think Justin is his own man. I think he's probably, you know what I'm saying, the most talented player by far probably in the world. He just don't live in a certain, you know what I'm saying, area. You know, maybe Justin would be better. Maybe he wouldn't be better if he lived in Japan. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But talent-wise, I mean, he's very talented. I don't think anybody made Justin. If someone's saying, I made you, like, hell no. I mean, I can't believe that personally. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's what kind of set things in motion, because I think this will rub Cen the wrong way, because, you know, Triforce in the video, from Cen's perspective, looks like that he was trying to take credit for a lot of stuff that was going to happen regardless of whether Empire existed or not.
Yeah, like, I think Justin Wong would have still been great if he wasn't in any organization. You know, I mean, he wasn't great when he came and won Marvel 2 the first time, when nobody really knew who Justin Wong was, and he just blew the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't great then. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's not a realistic outlook on who Justin Wong is. You know, that's just like saying Daigo wouldn't be Daigo if he wasn't in Japan or some shit like that. Like, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, that guy's just that hard. I don't know, man.
But you know, the thing about it though is that he practices. It's not. Don't get me wrong. I think he's gifted, but he practices a lot.
Well, yeah.
You know, so a lot of people think that.
Players do, man.
They think that you know, it just comes to him, and you know, and it's just like osmosis. It just sinks it into the skin.
No, you gotta fucking practice, man.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe You know, they play it to a certain point and then just don't play it as much as they used to.
But
I
he laid the
mean,
gauntlet down months ago. In an interview, he basically called out the United States, and and looking at the God's Garden videos and everything, he's been playing the game virtually nonstop. So, Daigo won it because he executed, he practiced, and that's it. Because the people that didn't win, they either, did one or not the other, or not both. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that probably got took by. I mean, even Marn admitted, that he slept on the cop dude. And and the international competition in Street Fighter 4 was something that I was sort of surprised. When I was expecting, of course, America and Japan to be there. I wasn't really expecting anyone from, Taiwan or from Korea in there either. It didn't occur to me, So
it's a big world out there, man.
It's a big world out there, and I think that, I think it just shows that, well, first of all, it shows it testifies to the popularity of Street Fighter 4. That's good.
Yeah.
But and one thing that Cen said, he says that a lot of the top 8 are Xbox Livers this year. Because a lot of, you remember the age-old argument that online play does not help you in offline play.
Online play is getting better now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
better as the net code get better. You know what I'm saying? It's becoming more of a viable. I mean, I still think there's no substitution for arcade experience,
Mm-hmm.
And with that said, I would say that, what made Justin Wong is not a group. I'll say being in, growing up and starting to play in the New York area made Justin Wong. Playing against all those great players, playing against, Eddie Lee, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I say that name and people listen to this, they don't even know who the hell Eddie Lee is. You know what I'm saying? But playing against great old school players like that, you know what I'm saying, then coming up and becoming a legend of his own, that's what made it. A great arcade, scene community made Justin who he was, not fucking, a crew, because that crew came out of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That scene was nurtured, by the tit from places like Chinatown Fair. You know what I'm saying? You got legendary places like that, the old golf lands, where Watson and Valle used to battle, and all these other great West Coast players when they used to play it, at the golf lands, which aren't there anymore. Those arcade, well, at least on Southern Hills isn't anymore. That's where those great players were cultivated and grew. You know what I'm saying? Places like that. It ain't one group or whatever. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my humble opinion. I'm an old fart, so who cares what I think? Xbox, baby.
That site has an interesting point. He says that those who got top 8 due to Xbox Live played on better online infrastructures, fiber optic in Japan, and I go, that's why it's so important that we get behind GGPO for Third Strike Online, because from what Sven said, it sounds like that they like GGPO, but they don't believe it's ready for the big show, or they don't think it's needed for the big show, which is the current franchise Street Fighter 4, and I want it to be on Third Strike Online, because I felt like that if we did, we can really just show people, okay, man, this is.
I think it needs to be on GGPO also. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you. But we always have this argument when a new game come up and we're lobbying for GGPO. Just like I always tell you, Capcom hires people and they think, they probably think, I mean, well, I can't speak for them, but if I'm a mega company, you know what I'm saying, I think that I hired the best people in the world to do my net code. Every company thinks that. Or I hired the best person to sell my stocks. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to look at somebody who throws, you know, a great tournament and stuff like that, but I don't think he could make a netcode better than the group of guys that I have. Not one man. No, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like,
yeah, I completely understand. In fact,
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I had Ponder on the radio, and he even admitted today. He's like, well, no big mega corporation is going to use a commercially untested foreign code, no matter who it's coming from, no matter how great people say that it is. It's just not going to happen, you know. But what I think what we should do really is, and I posted a petition on the Capcom community board, and I said, why don't you do a proof of concept? Take the Super Street Fighter 4 code, net code, and you know and set up a game for that, and then set up one with GGPO, and then have them play internationally. Because actually, I think that Super Street Fighter 4 net code is fine for local/regional play
in Japan. And I believe, I mean, DS made a good point, and I truly believe that also. I think that when they develop it in netcode, they develop it for Japanese netcode. Because I know they had to do that with KOF 12. Because I know people who lived in Japan that said that it was fine. It played perfectly. It was crap game, but it played perfectly in Japan. You know what I'm saying? And it would barely fucking start up in America. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably why they probably really like KOF, SNK play more. They probably just said, we're just going to test it on Japanese net code, you know what I'm saying, on Japanese internet, and then that's it. And they just left it alone. Then when you send it out to the rest of the world, they're like, what the hell is this crap? Well, of course, we can't handle it because our, you know, internet isn't fast enough to do it. So I think the same thing, you know. I bet you, you know, people in Japan, they play each other. It's probably just like they're playing in the arcade.
Right. Yeah, because even Daigo says, you know, he says that it's not much difference between playing online and playing offline. For him to say that, that means that, you know, it must be pretty good, you know. So
no. Well, Scott Popular lives in Japan. He tells me their worst connection is better than our best connection here. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, really and truthfully, our internets don't even fucking compare. So really, if you really want to develop the game for the rest of the world, they need to not develop the netcode on the Japanese netcode.
Right,
that's my personal
That's what I
opinion.
want that proof of concept for, because for the Third Strike Online, I'm putting there, let's say, just have two setups. One GGPO, one Super Street Fighter 4 netcode. Play it internationally. You know, just do USA versus Japan. Because at that point, it would be so obvious. It would be so obvious that they will, and because, I mean, if they really are truly serious about making the world a smaller place, you know, where gamers can, all over the world can really get together and have tournaments and so forth and so on. I mean, now they're just going to be official online tournaments. If they really want this to, if they really want this to take off, then the best netcode, bar none, has to be used. Else or else it will be just be limited to Japan, because it will be the only place it will be usable in. You know, so
what about sending ports on your PlayStation? Because I never did that before. You know what I'm saying? And if I had to do that on my PlayStation and they screw something up on my PlayStation, I'll be highly upset.
What was you saying?
You know, send your ports.
No.
Port forwarding on your PlayStation.
No, because it's not an issue of that, because by default, the ports are open whenever a signal is sent from the PlayStation 3 to the server. That port automatically is open for a return signal. So you don't really need to tell the PlayStation 3 what ports it needs to open. The ports that are defined in the program are fine. You know, I mean, it doesn't make no difference. You don't really need to do that. You know, I mean, the problem of the matter is it's just latency, and You know, some people have bad connections, and some people, and then and with the United States the size it is, I mean, it's just there's so much going on. There are storms going around all over the place. You know, there's fires. There's always stuff that can interfere, that can cause stuff to get rerouted, which causes latency. You know. Yeah, you need to open your ports. You know, you need to open your ports on the router. But I didn't open ports on my router to get GGPO to work. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't have to. I mean, I did it anyway. But I never had a problem even before then. But that's fine because I mean, by default, the ports on a router, if they see a signal leaving your computer on a particular port, they will leave that port open because obviously there's supposed to be a return signal. So I mean, because a lot of people will have to think about port forwarding versus port triggering. I have port triggering, which means that the by default it's closed, but it can be opened if there is a signal being sent from your computer to from an outside connection to an outside source on the internet. Because the whole point of keeping a port closed is, you want to protect yourself from malicious hackers and what have you out there. That's why I tell people all the time, when they ask me about computer problems, and I tell them the best thing you can do is to have a hardware router. You should always have a router, even if you only use it for one computer. You should always have a hardware router. If you don't have a router, it's like having a vault. Like your computer is a vault. It has very sensitive, very important information in there, but leaving it outside. So anyone coming by can just try to hit into it. So you need something to go between the outside world, that is the internet, and your computer. And that's the whole point of really having a router, besides the being able to use multiple devices on one connection. I mean, obviously that's the other part of having a router. But the main part for me having a router is so your computer's protected and it's not just people can't randomly go by and try to hack into it, But I think the getting away from the most important thing is that they need to have a proof of concept. We need to show them how their software does outside of Japan. And I think once we do that, then we will get more reception, a better reception, as far as at least giving GGPO a try, or at least incorporating maybe some aspects of GGPO. We got to crawl before we walk, maybe. So. That's what I'm hoping. At least Ono hinted, he could be trolling us again, but he hinted that they are looking into GGPO. So, I just want to see it on there because I feel like that if GGPO is in Third Strike Online, then we will be it'll be a lot of greater of a chance that we will see it in future games. I'm hoping that the next game to use it will be Marvel 3. That would be just great because that game will have a lot of hype. There's gonna be a lot of users gonna be playing the game. So I hope that they will consider using it there. I mean, honestly, I couldn't believe that they didn't even bother. At least when I talked to Ponder a few weeks ago, that they didn't even bother talking to him about GGPO. Maybe the project just got green-lighted not too long ago. Maybe I haven't got to that point yet, but I'm just hoping that they will use it. And if they have GGPO, I really could not care less whether or not it's arcade perfect. I shouldn't say that. I really couldn't care less if they kept it like at the arcade, or or they do they do some type of tempering with the characters, buffing and nerf. I really couldn't care less. All I want is GGPO #1.
Okay, you want GGPO #1.
Yeah.
And then everything else be damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because really, my feelings about Third Strike Online really is that just go ahead and just do an arcade port. You know why? Because it's not, the scene is not going to get revived through this game anyway. It's a treat to the Third Strike hardcore fans. Let them have it. Street Fighter 4. Street
I
Fighter
don't
4
know,
is the
man.
future. You know.
If we throw the same game on there, and I don't see any profit in just throwing the same game on there. I think they'll lose a lot of money if they waste a lot of time on netcode and this, that, and the other trying to get stuff right, and it's just the exact same game. Only the exact same people are going to play it.
Yeah, but I'd rather have it this way than I'd rather. What difference does it make? How even if they did they did change stuff in the game, if the netcode isn't good, then it's all a moot point anyway.
Yeah, it is. Oh no, definitely the netcode needs to be superb. I mean, I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but like HD Remix had, I don't know, maybe that's one example that change isn't as good as the original, just for my personal opinion. So they may mess it up if they put, they try to tweak it.
Well, yeah, you know
No.
the biggest problem I have with them actually tweaking the game is that it's most likely going to be one release. It's not going to, because when you start changing things, there are certain variables you just don't account for. You can't account for every single variable when you change stuff. There's a ripple effect, and if you're not prepared to do 2-3 patches, then I mean, you're just basically playing Russian roulette. You hope that the game doesn't unravel because of the changes you made. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but I mean, to re-release a game, and put a netcode in there is a substantial commitment to the game, instead of just re-releasing it and refried beans and bringing it out, without any online play. So if you're going to take that time to either try to dissect GGPO or use it, straight GGPO and not try to dissect it, then, that's a big commitment. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to try to maximize your profit on that project. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're just looking at that project to, I don't know, fund 6 more characters in Super Street Fighter 4. If that's the purpose of that game, to fund something from Super Street Fighter 4, downloadable content, then okay, yeah. Then you can just make it, the carbon copy of the arcade port. And then just put on Xbox Live or, PSN. But if you're trying to make a different game, not a different game, but, a slightly different game. That's what they did with HD Remix, man. Remember, the rumors at first was all they're going to do is just upgrade the graphics.
Yeah,
That's
I remember
all
that.
they were doing. They weren't trying to tweak the gameplay or anything like that. Then all of a sudden, you got people and blogs on Capcom Unity talking about, hey, can you rebalance it? Can you do this? Can you add a little this? Can you make this better? Can you make this, tone this down? And then eventually, HD Remix went from a facelift to a different game. Same, basics, but characters got switched around. It wasn't the exact same game. Now that may happen with Street Fighter 3 online. The exact same thing. Of course, they can't add characters because Third Strike animation is almost on the Disney animation. So they can't really just throw characters in the Street Fighter 3. All they could do is just either buff some characters, or like we talked about a week or 2 weeks ago, just put all the characters in the Street Fighter 3, realm into one game and make it like the Alpha Anthology or the Super Street Fighter or the Street Fighter 2, Hyper.
By the way, I wanted to answer something. Dan K out there. Ponder has said, actually on the last show, and the first time I talked about GGPO, he says that graphics have no bearing at all on GGPO. How good the
Okay.
graphics are has no bearing at all, because he says that the code, that everything that needs to be monitored, they don't need to monitor every single thing on the screen. They only need to monitor the character's position, the position of their, of course, of their extremities, the fireball, if they have, or whatever projectile they have, and obviously the position of the opponent. They said all the other stuff that it's constant. It doesn't really need to be monitored. He says only the positions of the characters in connection to each other needs to be monitored. So he says that the whole argument about GGPO can't be used on games that have demanding graphics. He says it's not true.
Okay. Well, that's not true then. Hopefully, we'll get it for everything. Cross your fingers. I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna show more of the Street Fighter versus Tekken
At the Europe,
at the Euro. Like, are they gonna show more than just a video? They're gonna show more gameplay, or is it gonna be different characters with the same type gameplay?
wow, that's a good question, man. But that game looks so early.
Oh yeah, it does. It looks very, very in its infant stages. It does.
So,
But I would love to
see.
see more characters like Gal, Gal versus Brian, or something like that, or Kuma versus Zangief. Just give me something.
Yeah, I don't really.
Ken versus Paul Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of matchups that we would like to see, and it's just interesting how there is a collaboration, but there isn't a collaboration. There's a collaboration is that Chemical and Capcom are allowing each other to use each other's characters, but they're not collaborating at all on the together on the development of either game, and each game will have its own separate development team, and they won't be sharing anything between them. So it's a really I have never seen.
It's the
this type
same
of
thing that
situation.
happened with Capcom and SNK, man. What are you talking about? It's the exact fucking same thing.
Okay,
SNK, first of all, SNK made their version on the Neo Pocket first.
Mm-hmm.
Then they made their version, that actually Neo Pocket was way better than Chaos. SNK versus Capcom Neo Pocket version was actually way better than than Chaos, but that's neither here or there. And then Capcom didn't have any say in what that game was going to be in either one.
Right.
So, and then Capcom made two versions of their own. So it was two versions for two versions.
I was just saying that it's just interesting because in this case with Tekken, they're both, although they're not being collaborated on, they're both being developed at the exact same time. We don't know if they're going to be released at the same time.
No, I thought they said that Capcom version was being developed right now, and then the Namco version was going to be down the road.
I've heard the opposite. I've heard that they're both being developed. They're both being developed concurrently. They're just not sharing in between them.
Okay.
So it's. I mean, and you know what? They can release both at the same time because both of them are going to be totally different games, as we already talked
Exactly,
about.
they can.
They'll be the two totally different audiences will play it. So.
Exactly.
So. Street Fighter versus Capcom Arcade. Street Fighter versus what's?
No, man.
Oh, okay.
SNK versus Capcom.
Oh, okay, like.
That's what you meant. Chaos.
That one. That game was horrible. I remember playing that game once, and
Not on the Neo Pocket, it wasn't. Neo
I
Pocket
haven't played
was
on the Neo Pocket, but I did play it on.
best handheld ever. Neo Pocket. Fuck your PSP and your DS.
It was funny
Neo
because my friend was bragging, but right before SNK vs. Chaos was released, he was bragging, "Oh, SNK is going to do so much of a better job than Capcom." With the verses. I'm like, okay, no. Then I play it, and then I was like, This is like Way of the Warrior 3DO type shit right here.
Everything.
That was just, it was the only cool thing was Violent Ken. Seeing Ken with an afro, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Looked like he was high as a kite.
So there's no rumors coming out of Europe. When is that GameCom is anyway? What's the date on that?
Oh, what?
The date of the con. GameCon, ain't that the name of it in Europe? When they go on the show?
Good question. Let me look up here. Okay, here we go. So.
Oh, I don't know if Vic and Arturo told anybody, but Team Spooky will be streaming Final Round 14
Oh, nice.
this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So.
Oh, nice. That's some nice news.
Team Spooky in the house.
August 18th to the 22nd.
Okay. So 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Team Spooky, Vic, Arturo. I told him to blow that shit up. We were talking on the phone. So
I'm glad, man, because I you know what?
We'll have the trailer on there soon. I'll be filming the trailer tomorrow.
I'm a big Team Spooky fan. The first time I watched Team Spooky was when he had Super 4 early, and he was running that 7-day marathon of Super Street Fighter 4 24/7. Man, that was fun. I remember being up 4 o'clock in the morning, which means 7 o'clock big time. They was still on there. I mean, bloodshot eyes and everything. It looked like a bunch of crackheads playing that game. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny. And
I was watching that too. The 24, yeah. Wasn't they playing for like 30-something hours?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, man. It was. He was there for a month. Man, I'm like, dude. I went and I left and came back 4 hours.
Yeah,
and
that shit was still on. Yo, I went to work, came back home, and that shit was still on. Yeah, that has to be. I agree with DS. That was the best stream ever.
That was just. It was, and it wasn't just 50 people watching. They was averaging, I think it was between 1,000 and 1,500 people watching at any given time. Yeah, because it was like, I remember it was like 900 people watching, and it was 4 a.m. in the dang morning, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, you guys were professionals that day. That week, you guys were professionals, because only professionals can be sitting up there playing. I mean, I'd have been burnt out a long time ago. But
yeah, that was some Skill Smith type shit.
Yeah, when I got Street Fighter 4 and I had it, and I ran up to Dojo to Africo's house place, and he lives 40 miles from my house. About 35 miles from my house. So there was no walk in the park to get to where he lives. But being the team player I was, I hiked myself over there, and he wasn't even home yet because it was a tournament in Oregon that weekend, and he hadn't even made it back into Washington State yet. And so I came up there, brought my Xbox 360 and the game, and someone provided the game, and I was it, man. That was good. That was good time. That was good stuff.
Yeah, man. Shoot. It was real good. I know I was tuning in.
I think that, I almost say I want you to start a petition, Larry. And the petition should be, oh man, you need to have.
Can we get
Super Street Fighter 4
Street Fighter
arcade
versus Tekken and Marvel 3 at final round? Let's do it. Start.
Well, you know what? With that too. Well, Marvel 3 definitely. But I won't. I mean, if anything, because maybe the console version, I mean, hasn't been released yet. But I was wanting to have the arcade machine, Super Street Fighter 4 arcade machine there at
Well, with the new console, I think the console characters will be released. If the game in the arcade is going to be released by, December or January, I think those characters, 3 months later, I think that's a long time for Capcom to sit on characters. I'm banking on 6 if they have those characters in the console version by final round.
Yeah, because I'm thinking 6 characters and the reason I'm on 6 months, because the reason I'm thinking that is because they wanted to give as Cen was talking about giving enough time for the arcade owners to make their money's worth when they buy this. I mean, still I don't even know. Do they have to buy an entirely new setup? I mean, I still don't know how much is it really. They really have to pay for all of that all over again. I mean, I hope not.
Why didn't you ask Henry that?
I didn't even think to ask him that. I mean, that tells you this is why Ski is the host of the radio. I mean, because I'm old now.
You're asking questions about them. What's the name? Tallywhacker, and not asking them that question.
Dude, didn't I tell? That's not me. That wasn't me talking about that.
Oh, my bad. Okay. You did bring up Mid-Cal that threw off the show. You know what I'm saying?
Unlike Tallywhacker, Mid-Cal I've actually seen.
I'm just saying. As soon as I got on, you started talking about some damn Mid-Cal. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all got things that we don't want to really admit to. I mean, it's life,
Okay.
It's going to take time for us to really accept certain things, but
Yeah.
we live and we learn, we grow.
Yeah, it's okay. Shoot, yeah, Bunk. Would you finally come out the final round if it was on the West Coast?
It'd definitely be a lot cheaper from my behind, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll make Bunk a commentator.
Oh, no, don't make me be a commentator. I have you so much in hot water.
No, man, that would be. I think the people will enjoy that.
I mean, man, you had the FCC knocking at your door. Man, we wanted to talk to you about the certain Negro that you had on your radio. We don't really appreciate his brand of comedy.
Oh, man, I just heard somebody on the Battle of the South. This dude is fascinated with some chick that's like, he keep talking about she's 12 3/4. And I'll hit it. I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah, like before I got on AlphaISM, I was watching Battle of the South. That's in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And this dude was commentating the Smash, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, it's this white chick over here. She fine as fuck. Hold on, I'm finna go holler at her. So he's supposed to be commentating. He's trying to holler at this chick. Then he's just like, how old are you? And she's like, 12 3/4. Now, first of all, anybody that gives you the 3/4 is actually younger than that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, then he goes on to talk about, yo, I hit that. I'm like, what? Everybody in the stream is like, what? So then he just going on this tirade about, yo, I'm gonna make her my wife. You know what I'm saying? So then they put the mic up to her. They finally show her or whatever, and then they put the mic to her mouth. Where she was like, well, will you marry me? He was like, hell yeah, I'll marry you. He said, as long as you do your wifely duties. So yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, man. I was like, wow, this how they do it down in Louisiana? Underage? I said, man, you better hope ain't nobody recording this or her daddy ain't looking. Yeah. But the really fucked up thing is she was sitting there smiling and cheesing and kept looking back up at him. I was like, oh, he gonna hit that. That's why I said, and that's bad. But yeah. She wasn't like, oh, she was just smiling and giggling. And then she was like, well, you gonna have to marry me. He was like, all right, fuck it, yeah, I'll marry you as long as, yeah, it was disgusting, yo. I don't know how old this kid was, man. He had to be like 16, 17.
Oh, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still makes it bad.
Oh, whoa, Bunk. What did you just say?
It says,
okay.
No, because I'm in my mind, I'm thinking 30. I'm thinking 30. I'm like,
no. It wasn't.
I'm thinking some really. I'm about to get a.
He's between 17 and 20, most likely.
Okay.
He looked like a real young cat, but still, yo, no.
I mean, no, you're right. Of course not. But I had a totally different age in my mind. I'm like, yeah.
Bunk, if you're 17, that means you're a senior in high school. Talking about a 12 3/4-year-old. Come on, man.
Man, I've watched too much Maury Povich and Montel Williams, and
I don't give a fuck what you watch. That's
it's
fucking
just the shock factor is gone, man. I'm sorry. It's a sad. It's just like, you know,
That's why I turned it off, because you know what I'm saying. It was some nice people playing Smash. You know what I'm saying. It was two white dudes, and one white dude name was John, and his nickname was J Nick, and then the other one was using Nigga Tune, and I was just like sitting here watching this in amazement, and then old dudes start ranting and raving about some 12 3/4-year-old chick, and I'm just like, yo, okay, I'm in the Twilight Zone. Oh, this is how they do it down in New Orleans.
I know that New Orleans has become a place of depravity since Katrina, but damn. You know.
Nah, I mean, it was real entertaining, but it started getting in the creepy way, so that's why I just jumped on AlphaISM.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what's bad, though, is that, you know, all the people that probably watching the stream, you were probably in the extreme minority. Some of them are probably just laughing their butts off, you know.
Oh, yeah, they were egging it on. Yo, show the picture of the chick. I'll hit that, too. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, that's the... See, if you... Larry, you have kids?
Bad. That was real bad, man.
You have kids?
No, I don't.
Oh, you know what? You see, you are destined to have a daughter.
Yeah, most likely I would.
Yep. And that's when you polish the old the 45 and the 12 gauge.
Man, just talking about, man. And people, that wouldn't be nice, especially if something like that final round. Somebody walking up, hey, little Dixon, how you doing?
And boom, off his head, right?
Somebody get clothesline. No, man, that'll be crazy. I'll probably.
I mean, seriously, I mean that's.
I don't even think about that actually.
I know. I mean, I'm just saying though. That's probably the first thing you will have to think about. You know, as soon as the baby's born, you think down the line. Oh, when she turns 12, 13, 14, am I going to prison? How long am I going to prison for killing these I mean, you know, you just have to think, who gonna take care of my girl while I'm in prison, you know?
Well, hopefully by then, God willing, I wouldn't have to do that. Maybe I train my daughter like Hit Girl. Kick ass. Right. So she wouldn't have to worry about nothing. She'd kick everybody's ass and try to mess with her.
Yeah, teach a girl to.
Did you see Kick Ass?
Mm-mm. I heard about
Oh,
it, but I haven't seen it.
Kick-Ass was tight. I didn't see any movie there. I just went and got it on the Blu-ray because I heard it was good. That shit is funny.
Oh man, you know what's really cool, man? The Red Box, they carry Blu-ray movies now, man. I'm happy as a pig in mud.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shoot, because I saw the sign now carrying Blu-ray. I'm like, oh, and it's like only 50 cents more, like $1.50. I'm like, this is like they actually make money off of this.
Yeah, hold on. I'm finna go to this. Oh, okay. It's at Monster Arcade, yo. I guess they playing Street Fighter now. Yeah, so I guess the pedophile announcer is probably winning, hitting that in the back alley behind the damn Monster Arcade. I don't know.
Hey,
I really hope she came with somebody, man. Like a big brother or a sister or something. Seriously.
man, there's a
Nope, that's
story
wrong.
I want to read you right quick. Okay, hold on. This is not a prank. I'm not pranking you, alright? This is a real story I heard. This is dated
Alright, this ain't
yesterday.
gonna end up with your dream.
No.
One of your dreams. Okay.
This is from August 6, 2010, yesterday. For more
Alright.
than 20 years, the local heroin addicts have relied on the collection of needle exchanges for clean works. But in recent months, crack users too have quietly found an outlet in the city. In a nondescript alley in the University District here in Seattle, users can pick up clean crack pipes, pipe filters, and ascorbic acid for injecting crack. Heroin users can also pick up a drug that reverses a heroin overdose, an apparent first for a city needle exchange. Public health officials know of no other local program that gives out crack kits or naloxone or whatever, the heroin overdose reversal drug, but they see the potential benefits. Just as sterile syringes reduce the spread of HIV and other diseases, new and unbroken glass pipes are believed to prevent lip cuts and the spread of hepatitis strains. Rubber tips and new filters ward off mouth burns. Ascorbic acid helps prevent users from using lemon juice to dissolve cocaine rocks into an injectable liquid, a common practice that can lead to fungal infections. Our program is primarily an HIV prevention program, says Michael Heron, Manager of Education and Prevention Services of the HIV/STD program with Public Health, Seattle and King County. The agency, which runs 4 exchange programs, has watched the demand for clean needles surge from 1.8 million in 2006 to nearly 3.4 million last year. Heron says, his name is Heron, funny, said research has documented HIV transmission from dirty needles, but he wasn't aware of rigorous studies showing disease spread via crack sores. Well, it's certainly theoretically possible, he says. The program began giving out crack kits a few months ago. After staffers felt the need to support crack users, who still make up a major local drug trend, according to a recent University of Washington study. Murphy estimated his program gives out 2 million needles a year and 10 pipes a day. He said,
So in Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
you guys actually help the crackheads of America.
Yes.
Interesting. Continue.
In closing, he says, we don't have clients, we just have community members. I make it clear to everyone that everyone is family here.
A family of crackheads. That's the closing statement.
That is the closing statement.
Okay. I would like to say that Seattle is now the new king of Crazy Town. You have taken the title from Atlanta. You wear the crown very well. So y'all beat on kids. The cops beat on kids on a regular. You took that from LA. You know, y'all the bad news cops now. And now you're gonna supply crack pipes.
Clean
rubber tip.
crack pipes.
Rubber tip. Yeah,
With
clean
filters.
rubber tip.
And ascorbic acid.
Yeah, I thought the whole idea of drugs was basically to kill the riffraff and the underbelly of America. And you guys are nurturing them. Are you giving them clean pipes to smoke out of? Seriously? Who approved that fucking
Now,
thing?
here's
That's a
my
waste of taxpayer money.
problem. Here's my problem.
No, that's a waste of fucking taxpayers' money.
Well, it's more than just a waste of taxpayers' money. How is this legal? If a cop pulls you over and you have a crack pipe in your car,
You should go to jail.
you're going to jail and that shit's getting impounded. How
So
can you...
this clinic are they seeking out people, or people can come to them and get, the clean crack pipes like condoms, like people go to the clinic and get them like condoms? Is that how it works?
I don't know. I haven't been there in quite a while. But, I mean...
You had to be there talking about some fucking mid-cal.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a different pipe we use.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm just saying this. Okay, is that true? It's only illegal if you've been using a pipe. So if they find a crack pipe and it's clean as a baby's behind, you tell me you will not get arrested.
Yes, you'll still get arrested for
That's still drug paraphernalia, though.
Yeah, that's drug paraphernalia.
Dan, you're going to get us all locked up with your advice. Come on, man, with your legal advice. Oh, man. Dude,
Yes, it is, man.
I watched
it's
enough
drug
Cops episodes.
Now, maybe you're talking about if it don't have residue.
It's still drug. I mean, they don't say they don't arrest you because it has cocaine on it. It's something they do, but even if it doesn't, they still say it's drug paraphernalia. You get locked up. Wait a minute. Nepto, how can this be part of rehab? What part of rehab do you see in handing out crack pipes? That's called aiding and abetting from where I live.
Dude, you give a crackhead a crack pipe. How are you trying to rehabilitate them? Huh? It's like giving a fat person a fucking cake. They gotta fucking eat it.
I mean, you know what? I'm like, I could understand. Like you know what I think that what the police should do to combat the drug problem is start making fake drugs. And literally,
man, that ain't gonna stop.
No, and flood the market with the fake drugs.
No, that's just gonna get people killed for selling fake.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make it as dangerous as humanly possible. So, so you're like, how I know this shit is real, man? You don't give me shit. See, it'll make it a very risky business.
People still gonna do it, man.
I know. No, you can never. You're not gonna stop all of them. But I'm just saying, just make it a dangerous venture. Yeah, just put some baking soda out there. I don't understand though. I don't understand. Okay, here's point number 4. Okay, you have a designated place to pick up clean crack pipes. If I'm the police, I'll wait until you grab that and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" Because to me, that's suspicious activity, and that's all.
Hey, how you doing? That's what you would say.
That's like, hey, how you doing? What are you doing here?
That's racial profiling.
How is racial profiling? I didn't say nothing about his race. I'm just noticing that he's picking up a crack pipe.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you have anything on you? You know. Oh my gosh.
Look, man, I think that's the stupidest thing I ever heard about that fucking clinic.
I thought it was
fucking crack pipes.
I thought it was a troll post, and then I heard it on the radio on CBS News.
Somebody that fucking crack pipe. You serious? Why is E Honda such a beast in this game? Edmund.
E Honda is a beast.
He just hit like a fucking tank. I'm just watching this stream. My bad.
No,
Speaking
that's fine.
out.
That's fine. Man, just
with his butt floss as he hops on one leg.
man, I hate that, man. I hate when he's in that alternate outfit, man. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, that's like real disturbing. That's what they wearing. No, I ain't gonna say it.
Dong, 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 dong.
No. Nefto's like, oh no, don't say it. He's like, ... Don't say it.
You know what, Nev? You know what reminded me when you said that? It reminds me of the newest. It was one of the newer episodes of Family Guy, but that Brian has sex with a transvestite that happens to be Quagmire's dad.
What?
Yeah, Quagmire's dad had a sex change, and Brian met her at a hotel, and they got to going, and then he finds out later at the end of the episode that it was a transvestite, and not only that, while he's while he's washing himself intensely in the shower, of course Quagmire ain't too happy when he hears it. He comes in there and beats the shit out of Brian again.
Okay. Don't dream about that, man. You know you had a tendency to have crazy dreams.
No. Why you have to bring that up, man?
What? What are you talking about? Bring it up. I just told you don't dream about it. I didn't bring nothing up.
No. The show ends now. The show ends now. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. I am not getting into that. Larry, thank you for coming on. Shout out to Midcal.
Shout out to Dreams.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Have a great one. No, I'm out.
You out, man?
I'm out, man. I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
All right, Dan. Peace.
All right, take it easy.